What is going on, YouTube world? The Insert Revolution podcast, episode 5. Uh, Steve, over there.
What's up, guys?
I'm Dave. Uh, we're going to talk about some lists tonight, checklists, and then some other lists like your eBay watch list. Maybe you, Bob Lewis. Come on. We're going to talk about just all the lists that entail the hobby, and again, how you should go about things or how we go about it. Maybe we'll get some feedback from you guys in the comments if you're watching this after the fact or during the video here. But Ty, I told you that score that you busted the other day was the precursor of doom.
I can't tell you the last time I opened a pack or a box of cards.
I'll have some to open, but I don't know when I'll do that either. That's
You want to ship some of those to me so I have something to open?
probably cost more to ship than they're worth. Unless you hit something good that which is, I think of the dying days of the Facebook from this past February and March. I got in like a baseball insert group, and they had like some team breaks, and then they had player breaks too. So if, like, let's say you paid whatever for Griffey, whatever for Maddox, whatever for some of the bigger name players, and then like you just take the team for the rest. And I know Maddox was out there when I made my. I'm like, okay, I'll take the Phillies, I'll take Roland, and I'll take Bagwell because he's cheap. Maddox was out there and it was like $15, and they busted some of the 97 Donruss preferred. Well, lo and behold, those fuckers pulled a goddamn
PMG or precious metal. Of course they did.
And I'm just like, because I looked in the comments where I commented where I'm like, where did whoever Maddox picked or whoever picked Maddox, and sure shit, it was after me, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, Dave, you can't win them all.
you can try, but yeah, I was steamed and horned off about that, but again, usually that stuff passes, and again, whoever bought the spot was actually a Maddox collector, so I'm like, well, that's good. At least he got a big card for his $15 or whatever. So I wasn't gonna complain too much. I was sore for about 5 minutes, and then Carlos in one of his videos said, I moved on and I went to eBay and I found something else to buy, and that eased that temporary pain.
Right.
But did they get their Ty? That's the fun part.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the way the postal service has been as of late.
Which finally I've gotten a lot of this stuff from Canada in under 2 weeks. So I'm very happy where before it was coming in about a month. So
No kidding, Bob. Is that one of the chasers? I don't know much about that product. That's why I was asking the question.
that's like a repack, I think.
Well, yeah, and I had a feeling that's what it was. But at one, sometimes when they do the repack stuff, there's certain chasers and stuff depending on, who actually does the repack.
Sort of like the old some of them scoreboard where they put the redemption for like the Joe Namath rookie card in there, and then you could pull vintage stuff and whatnot. I remember that. Those were fun, but you got a lot of stinkers in there too. It wasn't just like you're pulling Hall of Famers. You're pulling whatever Ed Pudding Face, one of his guys for the Phillies. I mean, you're pulling his cards, and you're not pulling all Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and Namath and Bobby Orr stuff. You're pulling a lot of dime box stuff back then, garbage. But so you pick anything up this week, Steve? Anything come in? Anything pop up that's of any interest?
Do we really want to talk about that?
I don't. I do. I always want to talk about that. I mean, just it does. You don't have to put it out there, but if there's something that a couple cards may have popped, or who knows, it's 2020. Anything can happen.
And that is true. It's I will say with Mosaic releasing, it's been interesting to see the listings for because Terrell Davis is in there. He's in the base set, so of course he has the varying parallels, and then he's in one of the insert sets. And don't quote me on the insert set name, but it's interesting to see the varying degree of what people are putting some of this stuff at. I mean, I've seen some as high as $60 for the silver prism mosaic. I've seen others that have put it up at auction or whatnot. Plus, I've seen the red, I've seen the blue, and that's the only parallels I've seen so far. But it's amazing just to look at the differences in the way a lot of those have been listed between, regular auctions at 99 cents to some, like I said, at $50. And you're just sitting there going, what in the world is going on? And they're pretty. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty. And, there's a spark of interest from a rainbow perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's so hot right now, and of course the NFL just kicked off, I'm going to just kind of watch and see and let it kind of die down before, any sort of really interest picks up. Outside of that, the one card it's still out there. It is a big one. But, at the same time, it's...
Is that still one you're working towards? Because I know you had said last episode that's like...
I'm hoping.
Your goal by the end of the month, maybe beginning of next month, to snipe that thing and just knock it off the list. And
Yep, and I'm hoping. I will say, and something that really surprised me, somebody actually bought the PMG 8.5. Now, I haven't gone to watch count to see if it, sold for the buy it now price or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody did buy it. And there was another one that I had on my list for some time, 97 playoff zone. Is it zone? Pretty sure it's zone. Somebody had one of the number to 5 parallels up. And, it was, I think it was buy it now best offer 135. And he kept relisting it. He never, dropped the price or anything, or never put it on auction or whatnot. And I stumbled across it on my ended listing. I'm like, I don't recall this, being up for only like 6 days or whatever. And of course, when I clicked on it, it was like, okay, view relisted item. So I went and pulled up the relisted item. He relisted it and sold it for $900. And I'm going, wait a minute, time out. Help me understand this. And that one I did go verify and go look, and I'm going, that it sold for $900. And I'm going, okay, I get it. 97, number to 5, extremely, extremely rare. But at what point do you have it listed for months? And I mean months. At 135 buy it now best offer. Not sell it. All of a sudden it ends, and then you put it up again, and then it immediately sells for $900. That sounds a little fishy.
I was going to say, I've been super skeptical just because of that fact, but then you think, who bought it? Was it somebody, one of his friends?
Right.
And then he'll put it up again, or his friend will put it up or whatever, and then it'll be at 300 or 600. So somebody will then you throw that off for 400. Guess what? I'll take that. I've had it up for 135 forever. It didn't sell, but you see the completed sale of 900 and
Yep. And it's one of those in which is it somebody, who's, manipulating the market? It's always possible.
Mhm.
And that's the first thing that I thought of. But it's like that just, I call bullshit on that one. Yeah, it would have been something cool to add. I do have one already. And I think there's three or four different versions, number to 5. Don't hold me to that either, because my brain hasn't been working well today. Uh, and no, it's not because I've been drinking excessively either. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we're now we're back to Bud Light as our sponsor. Sorry. But outside of that, I've seen a few things kind of come and go, and like I said, I'm a lot more patient and a lot more cautious these days. Just from a budgetary perspective, as I've alluded to before. It sucks because you always want to get something new and be able to share it and things along those lines, but at the same time it's it's not impacting my passion or my love for the hobby still.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, something that we talked about last week, and trying to, and I've done a few searches for a few sets that I'm trying to complete, that I kind of alluded to kind of keep it fresh. Unfortunately, my old computer crashed, so I don't have a lot of my checklists to see what cards I'm missing. But at the same time, I'm broadening my searches and things along those lines to try and focus on something else, because I don't want to say stuff is dried up for the PC, as far as Terrell Davis is concerned, but it's when you're obsessive like me
Mhm.
and you do your 20, 40, 60 searches a day just to put stuff on the watch list and either forget about it or don't anticipate on purchasing, it kind of takes away from the fun, I guess. So I really do need to take some time and pull some stuff out of the office,
Mhm.
because since my wife took over the office, since we're both working from home, I'm not in there as much, and I had to reshift and put some more stuff up. But it's one of those in which I'd like to pull some of the insert sets out, and some of the other sets I know I need to complete, and start looking for some of those, and hopefully have something to show in a video to where it's like I'm not dormant for 2 months again.
Well, that's even just showing people what you got, and like let's say you pull out that what's going on, Vinny? Um, that 2002 Topps Chrome set. Have you finished that
Yep.
one yet? No. Or is that
No.
the well, like if
No.
you're
I'm.
going through that, you're saying, "Hey, here's what they look like," and just showing them off, and say, "Well, here's my list of what I need. You need it, or if you got any, shoot me a message or whatever. Get a hold of me." That'd be one thing. A, you're making content, which everybody loves. You're making another vid, and then you're getting it out there with some new people, maybe that are in, or maybe the old people.
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement.
Yeah, this I'm in. I think everybody by now is tired of this. It's getting old, and it's finally, well, finally, but it's starting to hit up here more. I think we had assisted living. We got 3 different buildings. One where the people can pretty much do everything by themselves. The middle building is one where you need help. The end one is like when you're in like dementia and memory care and stuff like that. And that one got hit, I think, this past week or 2 weeks ago, and then I think 3, 4 people have died out of that so far. So But there's like a tenth of the population of Ely going down in 1 week.
Yeah, since face-to-face / hybrid has started here for school,
Mm-hmm.
we're already starting to see numbers increase within some of the school districts, whether it be students or faculty. So it's, it's one of those in which it's going to be around for a while, and now we're coming up into the fall and into the winter. You got flu season to battle on top of it. It's
Yeah,
I hate I hate to talk about this, but me personally, I think it's only going to get worse, especially once we get into the winter months and when you got flu to deal with, and just your normal strep throat or a cold, or throw pneumonia into the mix. It's going to be. I don't want to say crazy. That's not the right word. It's it's just unprecedented times, and hoping that maybe we would see some reprieve, I guess, which we did for some time. I mean, we saw some steadying, I guess. But when you start getting into the cooler months and the holiday season and stuff along those lines, I think it's only going to get worse. But let's not drown the conversation in something along those lines.
No, but yeah, it's gonna be here, and it's whether you believe it or not, whatever it's a thing. It's not something that's fake news. It's not something that's just some political propaganda. People are dying from this. Again, you can believe what you want, but the medical facts are there, and then again, go from it.
Um,
Go from that
that's
point where you want to.
that sucks. Oh man. Whew. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's rough.
Yeah, our condolences, Ty. That's horse shit. Yeah, the one that was up here too. One of the guys that died. He's 90, so I mean, he lived a good life, good long life, and one of the meat cutters at the store was her dad. So, but again, we got a truckload for him of underlying health problems. I mean, it just exasperates the situation.
Yeah. But on the flip side,
It sucks anyway. It's just shitty.
it's so, I don't want to call it elusive, but if you look at things and you listen or you read the reports and stuff, along those lines, that it's consistently evolving,
Mm-hmm.
and it's impacting certain age ranges differently. I mean, this is a nasty thing, man, and I just, all I can say for anybody: stay safe, be smart, and do your best to just pay attention. I hate to say that.
I really don't use much of anything on the internet. I know there's a few different sites that have checklists.
Well, I use Beckett for a
Yep.
lot of my stuff, as far as just your standard checklist.
Mm-hmm.
But for variants, like insert variations and things along those lines, I know this sounds really weird, but I check eBay. And, those who have good posts, good high quality scans, it's one of those in which typically you can figure out real quick what the variations are based on those scans. But I know Cardboard Connection, I know of it. I use them to check to see if Terrell Davis is any of the new products and stuff, to be honest. right around release time, so I can kind of have an idea. But outside of that, I know there was one that I stumbled across, and for the life of me, I didn't bookmark it. But if I happen to come across it, I'll bookmark it, and then in a future episode, I'll make sure I shed some light on it, because it's a lot more detailed, and it's got a lot more pictures, and I think it's really collector driven as to where a lot of the pictures and stuff come from too.
Yeah, I usually just use the Beckett. And then again, when you talk about we've been in the hobby for how many years, a lot of the stuff is just when you see something, you're like, oh, that's something I don't remember. I'm gonna start looking around. As soon as I see something I don't remember or I don't recall, that'll be a search on eBay right away. Be like, okay, what the hell am I looking at? Click, is there anything else first?
Right.
If I see a ton, I'm like, okay, something's off here, because if there's a ton of stuff on there, this couldn't have slipped past me. I could have, but I mean, most of the time, especially if it's something that's really fancy and cool looking, I'm aware of it because it's something that's gonna stick in my craw for many
Right.
years, because it's just something that sticks out. But yeah, the cardboard connection, I've heard that used many a time. It's something I've never used.
Well, and
And
I haven't used it outside of new product dropping and checklists.
mm,
Um, so for anybody who's mentioned it specifically in the chat, I'd be interested to hear additional details surrounding it, because it may be one of those in which you've kind of led Dave and I to potentially something else in which we could leverage on certain aspects. Uh, so,
and then Ty, back to him and his father-in-law passing away. That's it's. We'll go back to the cardboard connection and the inserts in just a moment. But that's a good thing. Instead of going and I know Steve's drinking right now. That's fine. Having some wobbly pops after a day of work, that's fine. But if you go to the bar from, like, let's say it opens at 10 in the morning and you're there till close at whatever 1 or 2, that's not a good way to grieve. I'll say that. That's just not healthy. You buy yourself a nice Elway finest mystery finest gold refractor. Guess what? That's going to be something tangible, and like, okay, father-in-law passed. That sucks. That's horseshit. At least for this, I've got the memories, and then I can put this card in. Like, hey, I remember when he passed. It sucked. This helped me feel better. Again, a lot of people wouldn't, I don't know, equate grieving in cards, but again, it can help you with a lot of stuff. And then cardboard connection.
yeah, that sucks. Sorry to hear you lost your job. That I can honestly say my wife and I have been both very lucky. I, however, different situation, and this has been years ago, and I'm pretty sure I probably mentioned this in past videos, but my wife lost her job at one point, and I tell you what, that is, and mind you, we weren't in any situation like this. We weren't in a bad economic state, anything along those lines. It just, that is one of the worst things to have to ever experience, let alone in the event for your situation specifically, to be a collector and having a passion for the hobby, but then also being able to leverage that passion and kind of lessen the blow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it sucks, but at the same time, you at least somewhat had an avenue to kind of offset, like I said, the blow of losing your job and things along those lines. hopefully you're getting some of that additional, unemployment money to help also ease some of that blow. I wish you luck. It's This year is freaking crazy. As far as I'm concerned, 2020 needs to be wiped off the freaking memory banks of most of us. Just in general, this has been a hands down shitty year. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, it started with me in January, car accident. Then COVID hit when I was in the cities, so gonna go to my first Minnesota Wild game the next day, right behind the penalty box. That's wiped away. Pretty much everybody's all the trading card shows and national and meetups and everything. Just wrestling. I was gonna meet Kane this year. I was gonna meet Lita, the Great Muda. And everything fucking wiped away.
Yep.
So I mean, it's on one end, it's a minuscule when you start to lose people, obviously, because again, memories like hopefully can happen down the road. But yeah, it's just when you start having dominoes fall and they're not falling in anybody's favor.
Yep.
It's just a shitty year, absolute trash.
Yep. Oh, and I just like to go on record. Go Dallas. Go into the finals.
We try to, and some people probably don't think it's entertaining. That's fine. Everybody has their opinion, but we also have their opinion of them. So,
well, I'll be honest. I don't usually watch a lot of hockey. I never have, and I didn't even realize the Stars had made it into the postseason until one of my neighbors brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, well, shit. They seem to be doing pretty good." And I was like, kept telling myself, meaning to watch, watch one of the games. And like, crap, we're up 3-1. Okay, I got to watch. So I was flipping back and forth between Denver's pathetic loss. We won't get into that. And the Golden Knights and the Stars game. And so as I'm, flipping back and forth or whatever, all of a sudden, Vegas goes up 2-0. I'm going, oh, crap. All right, game 6. So I flipped it over, watched the game for the football game for a little bit longer, and flipped it back. I was like, holy crap, it's 2-1. Oh, sweet. Maybe. So I sat there and I watched it for a bit, and they tied it up. And I'm going, oh, crap. This is freaking awesome. And then, of course, I watched them win it in overtime. And, first time going back to the freaking Stanley Cup Finals in 20 years. I'm super pumped. So I'll be watching the finals this year for the first time in 20 years.
See, I've paid somewhat of some attention, but again, no TV, or I got the TV, but I don't have cable or anything. And I haven't had it. I'm not going to pay direct TV prices, local cable prices, any of that stuff, Dish, whatever. For the amount of TV I watch, it's usually whatever's on YouTube. That's the sad God's to honest truth, is I'll watch hours of stupid Russian car crash videos. I'll watch American and Canadian ones. I'm watching just like top 15, top 20 lists of like biggest fish, deadliest sea crash or sea wrecks or shipwrecks. It's just everything. Right, when you look at me, you probably would think I'd watch 20 deadliest snakes, stuff like that, because I want to learn. I love doing that. But yeah, that playoff hockey, I challenge anyone that actually sits down, and if you have to have somebody that knows hockey sort of explain, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. Here's what they're trying to do right now on the power play. And whatever. Playoff hockey, when it's an intense game or a game 7, there is nothing better out there ever, sports-wise. Period.
Again, no, I would agree, and I'm not a hockey guy, but I would agree with and it doesn't even have to be a game 7. Nice Gretzky.
Madonna.
That Gretzky? Oh, Madonna, Mikey Mo. Yeah, that's still something that is on my bucket list of. I guess I can share this with everybody here, not like it's going to matter. At some point, and I shared this with you some time ago, not being a big hockey guy.
I know that.
Going back and actually getting certified autos on card. I know none of this funky sticker crap, but on card autos of the '99 Stanley Cup championship team of the Dallas Stars. And if they happen to win it this year, I'll have to add that to my list as well. But
that's again what a true, in my opinion, collector does. Even if, like, you've mentioned to me several times, when the hell are you going to pick up more football?
Well, because I like to give you shit though too, Dave.
This is correct. and it's just, this is the longest I think I've went with hockey. And again, I know the most I've spent. But it's fun to just, you get into something you're not really used to. And that's what I did back, again, like in February. It was, the dude had all this stuff on the table. I'm like, is this 1999? And we had a card show in 1999 with all these hockey inserts that I can never find, or I've never really perused for after, I don't know, 2005, 6. I probably gave up on that stuff. And you'd see like the TNT or Big Boyd would have stuff for Evolution Sports Marketing. All the auctions you'd look through, and then usually you'd just jump off right away to football. We'd go to football, or I'd go baseball, look through there a little, and never through basketball, never through hockey. So when that guy had all that stuff, I'm like, you know what? I might dip my toes back into this, because it's fun. I always love this stuff. It's not like, not to make any light of it, but it's not like I'm from Texas and hockey's king down there. I'm from Minnesota, where it is king, and I mean,
I get it.
I should at least have a little bit of a collection. Well, I've got a lot of a collection now. That's about that's the only good thing for 2020. There's certain along the way windfalls of money that have allowed me to pick up some absolute monsters.
Yeah, some big stuff that it's rekindling the childhood and things along those lines. Yeah, that's totally certified.
This is one I didn't
show. Is that a Brave?
Yep. You won't even know how much I got it for on bids.
Well, my guess is you probably stole it.
Under 30.
All right, dude, I give up. I'm just going to start having you buy my stuff. And I'll just start sending you money.
It's the same seller I've talked about, though, that's had all this stuff. Oh, this one, too. I opened on a brochure that I was super interested in. I told him I screenshotted it where it's like, congrats, you won. And he had skipped over it. And he's like, how much do you think this card is worth? And I said, well, I put 115 on it. And he's like, you want it? I'm like, yeah, go back in the conversation. I showed you the screenshot. And if you tap on the picture, it'll show like, congrats on your purchase or whatever. And it's like, shit. I'm like, well, they're numbered to 33, and it's, I think, 03, 04 Topps pristine gold refractor die cut. And I'm like, those cards, they don't pop. They don't pop up. They speak to me. It's like, like we've said, bid what you're comfortable and you can pay. But overbid if you really want it. But again, in your comfort zone.
Yep. Do not ever experience buyer's remorse.
Yeah. I wasn't going to bid like 300 on that, because again, I don't think it's worth 300. I mean, even in these crazy, uncertain times, I bid what I felt was a pretty strong bid, and if I lost, and if it would have bid probably just above whatever I had the 115. So let's say it went up to, I think it's like a $2.50 increment. So it went to like 118. Okay, maybe I'd have put like 130 and just like at the end because I'm frantic, maybe. But if it would have went there, like okay, that's not meant to be.
Well, and that's the thing, and we've touched on this in the past. Well, you've come to the wrong place, Ed.
You've come to the right place, Ed.
No, he's come to the wrong place because remember, premium subscriptions are now $5 million a piece per the last episode. Or have you forgotten that, Dave?
That's why I'm able to afford all this stuff.
But in all the years that I've been collecting and being a player collector and things along those, absolutely, amen to that, Vinny. I have never experienced buyer's remorse. Now, have I ever sat there and say, I paid a little bit more than what I was expecting? Yes, that's going to happen because, it's one of those in which if you bid strong on something, and for me, I'm always a last minute guy, sure. But payments are expected to be complete by no later than January 2021. Mm-hmm. So you only have a few months there, Ed. Sorry.
Got to sell all your pudding heads.
Yep, there you go. But because you put what you're like I said, I'm a last minute guy. I don't ever bid early.
No.
I bid with like 8 seconds left, and I always bid with what I'm willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, it may be one of those in which I'll debate as I'm putting in that bid, and then I'll like, no, and then I'll, go a little bit higher, and then I'll, kind of change my cents and my dollars up or, one way or the other. But I've never, because what's interesting is because you still have snipe sites and things along those lines. So you're still going to run into those situations to where, depending on the player, depending on the card, depending on rarity, things along those lines, you could put something in at 10 seconds and still have 2 or 3 additional bids that come in. And by the time you look at it, you're going, oh man, I'm going to steal this card. And by the time it's all said and done, you look at the final price and you're going, well, shit. Yeah, I was hoping to get it for less than that. But never a situation to where I ever experienced buyer's remorse ever. And if it's comfortable for you, then you should never experience buyer's remorse whatsoever.
No, that the buyer's remorse that I've had is when I haven't went higher, and it's again, I do the same thing. I'm like, okay, let's say on a big card, I'm like 145.
No, that's not. Yeah, no, that's no.
165. I'm like, no, 181.06. And then you win it for like 110 or 90 or whatever, and you're like, still, those are some heart racing moments because you're sitting there, and if that's a key card for you, and let's say you're in a sort of financial bind, you're just like, I don't want to. I only have X amount of dollars. I may be able to flip something for a few dollars, but I'm not going to get like $3,000 for anything. It's right. I can sell something for like $50 or whatever, and maybe put it towards it. But those are the times when you're just like. But lucky enough, for most of those, it's been like an auction.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, I can try to figure something out and work around stuff, but when the buy it nows come up and it's like a decent buy it now, and let's say it's at like 140, and you're like, oh boy, now what are we gonna do? Like, we got to figure something out quick.
Yep. Yeah, most of us don't have 3K cards laying around, and I'm not one of those.
Yeah, you're lucky on the one being super valuable, but that was just happen chance there where it grew in value, and I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's one of those in which that's not your focal point either.
Oh yeah.
You're not looking to find the quick buck and stuff along those lines too when you happen to take advantage of the current market and the current situation. And for those individuals that, do that and feel comfortable with it to build their collections and things along those lines, by all means, more power to you. If I had more free time, I'd probably take advantage of some of it too. Not that I have, you know, I'm not sitting on like a gold mine or a small fortune or anything by any stretch of the imagination. But if I took the time, there's a good possibility that I could, sling a few cards and make a couple grand. But, at the same time, a lot of the stuff that I still have still means something, which is why I could never make it as a card shop owner. Even though that's, that those people who are in collecting, that's probably a lot of people's lifelong dream to a certain degree, own a card shop type situation. And that's something that I've always wanted to do because I've worked in one. So I know a lot about it, but at the same time, being a collector, it's hard. And you look at JT for instance. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how Ryan did it. I don't know if he's still PC stuff or not. But I don't know how they do that because it's
a balancing.
Yeah, I will say there's been times I've had seller's remorse. Selling something sooner than what I probably should have, but that happens though too because you just don't know. Ooh.
Yeah. That's this thing. I'm gonna see if the light can capture it.
That's acetate.
If you look down the middle, I'll take you off for a minute, Ed. See, because you can see.
Is that like a bend or something?
Right in the middle.
The light has to catch it just right, but I mean there's a line there definitely.
The guy put it in a team bag between. I've kept it here because I wanted to show it. And again, from Sweden. So he put it in this, just like no padding, between 2 sheets of cardboard in a team bag in a soft sleeve.
Are you shitting me?
I've still yet to leave feedback because I'm just that irate with a $100 purchase being sent like that.
Wow.
I have experienced some just horrendousness with shipping lately. It's been I'll show it, but this is one I had the video. I took like a 20-second video because the guy sent it in a bubble mailer, and I'm like, okay. So I pretty much knew this was the card because it showed up saying it's gonna be here today or whatever. But it was like a previously used bubble mailer, so there's like a cut on the top, and it was like tape. So I'm like,
please be in there.
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! I can't have this every day. Where, again, for me, $100 purchase is fucking huge. It always will be because again, I'm not slanging the Jordan rookies on the corner. I'm not finding Kobe's and playing like blackjack with them. $100 for a card and it's a acetate insert, and it comes like that. I'm like, does anyone know how to ship anything? It's fucking insane.
So Dave, I don't want to interrupt you, but how much did you pay for shipping from that?
10
from Sweden. Now, I hate to say this. I would expect if it was free shipping type situation.
Or you get the 99 cents or $1.10 or whatever it is.
Wow.
But again, it's International shipping. God, what the hell is that card? I have another one that's, and again, it's not a card that's worth a ton, but that shouldn't matter. That's not the point. You need this one. I think I paid like 4 shipped for it. Just a Broder classic 94 whatever insert. Crash numbered hand or on the back. This will be a tough one to pick up too. It's on the. I got to so my shoulder. It's tough to see there, but the thing there's like a shoulder right. Again, it's right where you can sort of see on his shoulders a little divot right there.
Yeah, it's not picking up very well.
That came in like a graduation thank you card. Like hey, you sent me a greeting card with some money, a little flip card, just like this in a soft sleeve. Hey, thanks for choosing my eBay store. Well, motherfucker, you didn't protect it.
Timeout. Did you just say eBay store?
There, I'll find that. I'll find it. But yeah, I still have that because I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because it's like a eBay card thing.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words. Even for, I don't know who on here or who's in the chat, who actively sells from time to time. I'm very random when it comes to stuff. But I mean, my shipping is $4, which is the norm.
Basically the going rate.
I mean, let's be realistic. As a seller, you're trying to recoup some of your expense for your supplies and your bubble mailers and the shipping and everything else. But I take a little bit of pride, at least when I ship stuff. And, like I said, I'm not an active seller by any stretch of the imagination. You have to go years back when I was a silver power seller. And this was back in, 06 through 08, I think. And that's, of course, before, you had to pay taxes, which really changed a lot of stuff. But at the same time, I always took pride in, my shipping. Not to mention, I used to be a warehouse guy. I used to work in shipping and receiving. I know how to protect my stuff. Hell, go back and watch a few videos of stuff I've sent to people and look at the packing job. Outside of just like a regular bubble mailer type situation, any of the boxes, the priority mail boxes, anything along those lines, I take pride in my shipping. And if you're going to charge somebody almost $5 for shipping and ship it in a PWE, somebody needs to freaking walk over there and give them a swift kick in the testicles. Because that is just ridiculous.
And I used to love seeing on like a blowout or a Beckett message board, well, this is why I charge this much. I have to go there and drive there. I have to buy the thing. I have to use gas. It's taking up my time. Well, then don't fucking sell. If that's your time is so valuable, you're not that valuable of a person where you can charge people because you're breathing air as you walk to the post office.
It should never be more than $5. I will give those sellers the benefit of the doubt. If they're, if they sell frequently, maybe they don't have something as close to them from whatever, or they're having to buy all their supplies online. Okay, I get it. But $5 should be the max, and it better come damn well protected. It better be coming in a bubble mailer, and it better not come in a reused bubble mailer for that matter. I don't think I've ever reused a bubble mailer, ever. Not saying it's a bad thing.
Not like I've cut it open and then, I gotta tape it up. It's usually, if they've printed on it, I can affix something over it and if I can take off the sticky seal part and everything is still pretty much intact, I'll reuse it. If it starts ripping, I just tear the fucker and I'm like, okay, this can cost me $1. Who cares?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not faulting people who are able to be able to be smart, and
Yeah.
I mean that saves expense. But at the same time, make sure when you're reusing something, it's at least still intact to where you don't run the risk of something falling out of it. Holy cow!
That was the brochure that I showed. That's the back of it because I cut it on the top. But yeah.
Oh,
So I'm
oh,
looking, I'm like, oh, you fucker, you better. I'm like, I know supplies are a little more limited now with all the crazy uncertain times, but at the same time, you're selling a card for $250 to $260 and you get a bubble mailer that's already been used, ripped, and I pull it out and I'm like, motherfucker, you have got to be kidding me. No, not again.
Well, yeah, because in that situation, you don't know if it happened in transit to where, the post office got it and then they're the ones who put the tape on it, not realizing if something's in there or not.
This was another, I have got so much to show. I just haven't done anything video wise yet, but
I know you haven't. I was going to give you shit about that too. I'll leave it alone though. You're coming back from vacation. I get it. You're still trying to get reacclimated. You throw in 2 freaking shows.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, when that
I get it.
unreal. I used, and again, this isn't like somebody like you. Again, try to take the peel off and be nice with it if you could have it on there. It's somebody that cut it open or ripped it to that part, and then they just decided to use. And it wasn't even like a strapping tape. It's regular, like not Scotch tape, packaging tape. I got a huge lot of inserts in this box, and again, they're all hard plastic. But I mean, it's again just a little, like, let's say you'd have a pin for like a child or something. Maybe that would be the thing in there.
Right.
I'm like, that cost a ton. It was all the hockey from like the 94, 95 score franchise. Um, there's some Leaf limited stubble. There's like all these ultra tough inserts, and that's how it came. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Why? Why can't people? When I sent the stuff to Josh BB Express that I sold him, medium flat rate priority box, bubble wrap. I didn't have enough, so I took apart like 150 count, 300 count, whatever the the white box. So I put that on there so it brace. But the Siakam went in its own bubble mailer, wrapped it with bubble wrap,
Protecting the case to avoid any scratching.
took off, yeah, and then team bag too. So it was already in that. Then I take the team bag with painter's tape, put it in, took off the tab of the bubble mailer, put that in there, and I put it in the middle of the other two. So everything was taped up, team bagged, painter's tape, bubble wrapped inside the bubble mailer. It's not that hard. Again, think of, you buy something from Amazon. Let's say some crystal bowl. I don't know. Some fancy thing you're going to put some plums or peaches in. I don't care. Acorns. Do you want that thing coming in some ratty old box that's dented up and you're like, oh, fuck. You pick it up and it just sounds like yours have jingle, jangle, jingle? No. You want it looking like.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I know this. We need an actual video though of you doing this. We need some sort of contest where who can teabag their cards the best. I mean, win a pack of like Topps 2020 Series 2 baseball, and you'll have like 800 entrants because, again, ultra modern is where it's at.
Sure it is. That's why I'm jumping all over it.
Everybody should. But
I'm
yeah,
that guy. I'm that guy going and clearing off all the Walmart and Target shelves in my area. Not.
I, if I saw anything up here, I'd buy it, but it's just nothing. Still nothing.
Well, if I came across something, it's since I've been, a devout football guy for as long as what I have been, I'd buy it and rip it. End of
Yeah.
conversation. Not saying that if I didn't stumble across some, Prism basketball or something along those lines, and yeah, I think I'd take advantage of the current situation. Just throwing that out there. Not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna be buying everything off the shelf though either, because, like I said, it's one of those with the current situation. Depending on where you live, if you don't have access to a hobby shop and you have the younger generation who are, who love the hobby, and you're robbing that situation from what I consider, the future of the hobby, I have a problem with that. I'll just go on record of saying it.
And they brought that up. It was another podcast, Sports Cards Live, I think after hours or after dark, whatever. Usually Jeremy has a guy on in the business somehow, and then afterwards he started up with like collectors. I'm like, that's what I want to hear. I like hearing the insight, but I want to hear people that are actually in the hobby currently and not that work for the hobby. They just want to buy cards and like us. And there's a discussion there. It's like one of the Carlos, he said, look, he'd argue that the hobby hasn't been for kids since, I don't know, like the 50s, 40s, 50s. Like, I disagree with that. So I put that in the comments. I'm like, the late 80s, early 90s is when it started changing. When you had Upper Deck, Leaf, Upper Deck 89 baseball, Leaf 90 baseball, 90-91 Upper Deck after like Bure, Fedorov, all those guys got hot. And then 92 Bowman, 92 Fleer rookies or Fleer. And then 91, I think it's 91, 92 or 92, 93, anything with Lindros. That's when you started seeing packs not being like 35, 50 cents, maybe like 60 cents. Now everything was like $1.50, $2, like $5, $10, $20 for a Fleer 92 jumbo pack to try to get that rookie sensation insert and not have it be Scott Leyes or Juan Guzman at the time was one of the better ones, but obviously didn't turn out to be. You get the Frank Thomas, you get the Bagwell, you get the Knobloch, you're sitting pretty, Pudge. But it's like, that's when, for me, because up until that point, even though there's people in the business, in the hobby, trying to make it legit business, you still had affordability in any turn because you can go to the Pomida, buy a pack for 35 cents. Go to your Ben Franklin, buy a pack for like 50 cents.
Your grocery store, your Five and Dime.
A gas station, somewhere. You could find anything, anywhere, because there was so much of it. And then that's like, okay, Upper Decks, ooh, that's a hologram on back. The hell's that? 90 Leaf, it took a little while, but when people figured out it was limited, that took off. Then 92 Bowman, that was on fire. So I mean, it jumped within about a 3-year span from being really kid friendly to being really dollar oriented.
But even then, I mean, going back in my early years of collecting, I remember when 92 Bowman came out. I can't say I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm old. Okay, I'm really not that old. But I still remember it. And in the 90s, 90, 91, 92, I was still very much a baseball guy. And that is typically what a lot of the packs and stuff that I would buy. And you had regular 92 Bowman, and then you had like the Rack Pack, which had even though it really wasn't really a rack pack, but it had more cards in it, and I think it had more gold in it. And I want to say they did the same thing in football too, because I remember it in football because the color variations, like the outside of the package or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do jumbos. Was that 93 that jumbo? I think 93 is when Bowman may have had a jumbo. Or maybe it was maybe it was still considered the rack packs, but they also kind of prefaced it with, jumbo or whatnot. But 92 Bowman, although it was a little bit higher priced, even from a kid perspective, it was still kid friendly. I'm going to take it even a step further. Granted, I was, in my preteens in 92. I graduated high school in 97. So, okay, 5 years? So 13. So preteens, 13 years of age or whatever during that time. And me consistently always looking to buy packs and stuff. And as I got older and got a job, I started going to boxes. I didn't start really seeing a mass increase in some of the prices, at least for me, at least in my area, was like in 98. And that was because of the rookie class.
Yep.
So I hope everybody's sitting down, because everybody's probably going to shit their pants. I remember buying my first box of 98 Topps Chrome because I started digging Chrome in 97. And of course I had to go back and, buy some 96. But I paid $200 at release for 98 Topps Chrome. At release. In all years, after that, I never paid that price for a brand new drop on Topps Chrome. Period. But $200.
I was going to say, I remember it might have been, I don't know, for $3 or $4 a pack at the holiday here. And I couldn't believe that. I'm like, we bought the whole box in pretty much a matter of a day. I got the Manning rookie. My buddy got the Randy Moss and the Fred Taylor. I think I had Fred Taylor refractor rookie. And we're like, okay, we bought it all. We got the guys we wanted. We're done. I would have liked to get Leaf too, but I mean, I was happy with Manning.
Well,
we never found it again. I mean, we got lucky because went in there one night, getting gas, cruising around. I'm like, ooh, okay.
I paid $20, and I'm probably going to say the guy's name. He was for the Pats. Is it Robert Edwards?
Yep.
I paid $20 for just a base rookie of Robert Edwards because it was one of like 3 rookies that I needed to complete the set. Within, it was still a few months during that, overall release schedule or whatever.
Mm.
But I'm like, this guy hadn't done shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm paying this kind of money. But, at the same time, still to this day, never buyer's remorse. Do I regret it? Absolutely. But at the time, because it was the hot product, because of that rookie class, and, when you're a set builder, you stick with what you know. And at that time, I was stuck to the shop, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, I can still remember selling the 97 Plumber Topps Chrome rookie, Jake the Snake,
Mm-hmm.
for damn near $20 in store credit. So it's one of those in which you kind of, it's the whole give and take situation.
Well, then it becomes sort of a watch, or so, okay, maybe I made a purchase here that, but I sold this one over here that's not worth shit now. So it's guess what? I came out at least even money.
Right.
Yeah, that, and so that was the thing. It's like, okay, I just wish stuff was available. And again, even if kids aren't collecting as heavily as we did, as kids maybe like 10, 12 years ago did, I just wish the stuff was available so people had the option. I'm not talking about Ultimate Collection. I'm not talking about the Cup. I'm not talking about National Treasures or Exquisite or any of that. I'm just talking base cards that you'd find at your five and dime that 5 years ago you'd go to Target and just pick up a blaster and just be like, okay, see what we get. And if I get something good, maybe, you know what, I'm going to come back at a couple more just because I'm going to keep pressing my luck until it runs out. But yeah, there's nothing anywhere. And when people find it, I don't know. I would be more willing to sell some of like the lower end, like Daniel 4619 had a bunch of score fat packs. I would have probably sold those because that's something he ripped them. But it's like I don't know. I like the tops. I like maybe a box of Prestige football, just because again, something clean looking, not all gummed up with too much foil and nonsense.
It's a staple. I mean,
that's become the
Prestige.
Yeah, like what looking at Donruss, but the Prism where it's just gotten stupid, where people think they're printing gold bars. I don't know. The charlatans have brainwashed the masses with some delicious orange Kool-Aid.
If you take the blue pill or the red well, and see, Ty, I think that's for those people who pay attention. I think that's the case, or people who have made friends with, a rep or anything along those lines. I think is always a possibility, but it's unfortunate, and you know what I'm going to say. It to me personally, it's childish because. Here's the thing. If you can't usher in new blood, and I'm not talking new people our age or investors, or even if they want to call themselves collectors, whatever. If you can't issue in the new era and the new phase of collectors, at some point, the hobby, I don't want to say it dies, but it loses a lot of its base. And, for those of us who are able to, I guess, survive the current situation, maybe it's in our benefit. But when it's the law of supply and demand, demand is high, supply is low, people are going to pay a crap ton of money for it. And at some point, it's really going to be up to the manufacturers and things along those lines to be able to step in and find ways to regulate some of it, or having those conversations with those retail outlets and stuff along those lines to try and give those individuals the opportunity to bring in that new blood and consistently build that customer base. Because with no customers, there is no product. Mm-hmm. You're going to go back to the junk wax era, to where they're going to mass produce everything, and it's going to be 30 years before anything really holds any sort of value. Mm-hmm. Granted, those of us who are here, I'm speaking for the majority, I'm guessing, we are collectors. We are long-term collectors. We do this because it is a hobby. Once we go 6 feet underground, Who knows what happens? But when that happens, we don't care.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, one can only hope at some point that this tide turns, but again, I don't envision it turning. That's the only bad part.
well, it's not. I personally, it's one of those in which hockey's about to wrap up, baseball's about to wrap up, basketball's about to wrap up. We're going to have football only. And let's hope that once we get through the 2020 sports year, that maybe come 2021, when things start kind of circling back around, maybe we'll have some sort of normalcy, unless you have big money people who are still going to consistently drive the retail prices up because, you know, they have that excess income and they're just buying it and raping the shit out of people.
Yeah. And it'll depend again how all this pandemic bullshit transpires and matriculates too, because again, we start, and again, if it goes away a little bit or numbers decrease, whatever the case may be, if it goes down, then people like, okay, now we can have concerts again or in-person sporting events, or people can go do stuff, and then that discretionary money gets thrown to that stuff instead of, well, I can only watch it on TV. I can only gamble from whatever internet gambling said. I can't go to the casino. I can't do this, that. I can't spend stuff here or there. Then it's going to keep going because, again, there's going to be money that some of these people, oh, I can't watch Steph Curry, or I can't go watch Steph Curry play basketball. I might as well try to get to an NT auto, or hey, we watched the Jordan documentary, the Bulls documentary again. Let's go pillage some of those. But yeah, I just don't see it happen at any point in time. We know what plays are. We know. Yeah, that's the next thing. It's like, do you either say, you know what? I'd rather have a Big League Chew there and I don't know, breath savers or whatnot, or will some of these stores start putting them behind like Walmart will. Target, I don't think sells smokes or anything, but like, will Walmart put them behind where like the smokes and the tobacco are?
Oh yeah, and you have to physically go ask for something.
Yeah, and somebody's there that's saying, oh, you can only have a limit of whatever, 2 or 4, and that would be the thing. But then you'd have to probably still have somebody over there because these people are just idiots and so unruly over cards that, again, who knows when that printing press stops. So it's not like, again, you have a number on there that says, okay, there's base cards, they're 225, it's serial numbered to that. So I know it's a finite number, not a,
Yep.
who knows.
So
Yeah.
Ed, out of curiosity, if that's in fact the case, do you think these distributors or these manufacturers, for that matter, are going to look for alternatives as far as, retail product? Because, Walmart and Target, of course, would be two of their biggest customers because just the amount of locations they are spread out throughout the continental US type situation. Are they going to look at other retailers? Because if I'm Panini or if I'm Topps, that's a substantial amount of revenue. What then happens? Or are they just going to hold the product and sell it to the public direct at ridiculous prices? It's like one thing or the other type situation here. And I when you start looking at situations like that, that can take a big snowball effect if you really think about it.
I think, Ty, some of the stores that I've seen other people talk about where they've actually got something, it's had somebody there saying, no, you're going to get 1 or 2 boxes per person. It's not come in here, there's 7 people waiting. You get screwed if you're the second person because again, the one guy buys all the tickets to the game, and you don't have a chance.
Well, and that's I bought mine at like 5 and dime stores. And you know what? Kudos to the retailers that are actually putting that out there, because that's money to them. And when you're in business to make money. But at the same time, the fact that they've stepped up and put certain limitations, and to a certain degree, the only way that happens is by individuals out there educating those retailers, letting them know what is transpiring, letting them know what's going on. It's still not going to fix the problem, because since it's not nationwide, it's not all locations, it's not like a mandated policy type situation. But at the same time, it is nice to know that there are retailers out there that are potentially, listening to individuals and advising of what is truly transpiring. Me personally, I wouldn't go into granular details and be like, do you realize that these people are buying this stuff for $20 and selling it for $135 on the secondary market? Because all that's going to do is put ideas in their head, which is really...
I wish he got punked everywhere.
Now, see, getting physical, that's a little absurd.
Yeah, where again, it's cards. People think, again, it's just because it's one of the hot things right now, where people can make instant flipping money. They're just, and it's stupid. Where it's like, well, if I can buy this for 20, I can sell it for 50. So you're gonna punch somebody for $30 fucking? Are you stupid? I'll push you off a bridge for free. I mean,
amen to that.
Like, are you kidding me? $30. Who cares? It's nice to have that extra 30, but you're gonna be a fucking dick for $30 over
the only way that you're talking making bukus of bucks here is if you got financial backing, or you're willing to make or take the risk. It's no different than the stock market. If you're willing to put in that kind of cash, physical cash, into something that is still very liquid, it can change in an instant. And to be brutally honest, that's ultimately what I'm hoping for with the individuals that are truly investors. And I'm not one to wish bad things on people. That's not me. But that's the only way that they're going to disappear, is that they invest all this money and they lose it. Because once that happens, they're going to go find something else. Because in times like this, I don't know about you guys, I don't have spare thousands of dollars laying around.
No.
Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't care if these people are worth millions. In times like this, that to me is not worth the risk of losing a substantial chunk of your net worth on something that is so liquid as sports cards. Because all it takes is one player to have a great game. You invest all this money early on, you sell it, you make money, but you kind of sit on some other stuff, or somebody else buys it from an investment perspective, and boom, he tears an ACL. Who's to say they ever come back the same? Now you've just, socked all this money into, a player or whatever, and now you're hosed. People are buying into the hype, and that's really what it is. It's buying into the hype. You have multiple individuals out there expressing to individuals how easy it is to make money in this hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be real, right now, that's a fact.
Yeah.
It's very easy. But for those individuals who have been doing it for a while, let's say, they know it's not always that easy. You have to always shift with the market. You always have to be quick on your feet and things along those lines. So you constantly have to be in the know of what's going on, players, hot, cold, indifferent, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay on top of it. It's a full-time job. These individuals that, are your main investors or your flippers and stuff, they may call it their job, but I don't think that they're spending 10, 12, 14 hours a day doing all the research that they need to in order to pass on the crap that they're passing on to people.
Well, yeah, and most of these people, yeah, they're long-term collectors or long-term in this hobby. Even if you want to be an investor and you've been in the hobby business or the sports card hobby for 15, 20 plus years, if you're giving advice then, okay, that's one thing. Joey Jojo Shabadoo, who just fucking got a laptop 6 months ago with the COVID pay and bought a Zion Prism and flipped it for, I don't know, $3,000 more than he paid for it. Now he's writing about stock market type situations and all this bullshit. Again, to the alligators they get fed. Who cares? It's the blind leading the blind, and that's going to keep happening because people don't. There's a lot of connotation that this hobby is negative, and it is. A lot of people just want to portray positivity. I'm not one of them. If you watch my videos, the only thing that most people are positive about is that I should be in a mental asylum somewhere. When you have the negativity in the hobby, you need to tell people about it. So at least you have, okay, I can weigh the pros and the cons. You don't go to the automobile store and say, hey, I want to get a truck. Okay, here's a truck over here. It has an engine, 4 wheels, doors work. Sounds good. I don't know what brand it is. I don't care. I'll just buy it. I need one. That's the hot truck. No, you're going to do research on every other thing you do. Why the hell do people, oh, this guy's been on YouTube for 6 months, a year. What fucking experience do you have? You don't have any. Any. The coroner's going to have a field day with all these sheep that are dying. It's unreal.
Well, and for me, I'm a realist. I try and look for the positive in every situation. But at the same time, this is the most vocal I've been in a public forum in regards to something that I ever have in the past. And even from my perspective, my purchasing has gotten extremely right. Ed, maybe that's the new venture we all need to get into.
Yeah, soft sleeves and top loads by body bags.
It's one of those in which even though you don't see a lot of videos out of me, it's because of a change in my mindset and stuff along those lines. It has nothing to do with the state of the hobby, so to speak. But it's one of those in which priorities change in life, but at the same time, for those that I consider friends or I'm building friendships with, and starting to see the shit that is unacceptable, in my opinion, it really becomes a detriment to a hobby in which that I love, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to go back to what Pepino mentioned earlier, you know, years ago when it came to whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube, anything along those lines, to me, that was the community. Regardless of your collection, who you collected, what sport. I watched a lot of people who collected baseball. I watched a lot of people, there wasn't a huge base for hockey. The only reason why I watch hockey these days is because of Dave. Every once in a while, I check out, is it Matt Essentials Credentials, some of his stuff that he picks up, just because I have an appreciation for that era in the sports card world. But never once did you really, or okay, I can't say not once, but very rarely would you ever see like somebody pop in with a comment, sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it, sell it, sell it. Selling cards is a personal preference. Me, I have a very narrow focus in my collecting mentality. So for me personally, if I pulled like the hot rookie or whatever in a box break and I posted it on YouTube or whatever and somebody said sell it, my response would have probably been, it's already up on eBay. But that's me. But it's not up to them to tell anybody what they should do with their stuff. Period. Now, people can offer their opinion in conversations and things along those lines. Let's be realistic. We all have opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. But, in certain situations, unless, I mean, we can go back crap, who were we talking to last week about his prison box? Who was that?
God, I remember too.
It doesn't matter. Been around a long time. And a lot of us all told him, you know what? Joe. Yep, there you go. I was like, sell it. And it's like, you know what? Hey, that was my first gut response. But at the same time, it's not up to us to, convince or, support a decision.
It's like, I'll jump in quick. It's like somebody telling you what to buy, like Ed, Mike, Eric, those back pages. Don't buy Topps 2020 because I'm tired of seeing it in my feed. Fuck off. It's their money. Anybody's entitled to do with their money what they choose to. If you don't like it, hit the ranch.
Yep. And that's the thing. And, in situations like this, we can poke, prod, make fun of, joke around. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to be hard pressed ever to convince anybody how to spend their hard earned money or sell anything that they have, because that's their collection. That's what they want to focus on. Who gives a shit? We all should be supporting those individuals. If this truly is a community, we're not getting to any fucking topics that we had on the agenda, obviously. And that's fine because we can bring them up at a later time. But now I'm getting fired up. Because, and this keeps going back to Pepino's comment. When this was a community, even with some of the drama that we had, and let's be realistic, we had drama. We had a lot of it. However, for the most part, people were pretty much respectful as it pertained to what people were picking up. Mm-hmm. At least in the comments. Now, they could talk shit behind somebody's back. They could do it on blog TV, whatever.
That's always going to happen.
And that's always going to happen, absolutely. But for the most part, when it came to comments, people were mostly positive when it came to, I don't know who that is, Ed. That name doesn't ring a bell. But people, for the most part, were positive. And I don't, who the hell was it? I caught a video or a comment or something, and for the life of me, I can't remember. Focusing on the fact that, let's be real, if we're going to call this a community, and if that's really what it still is, for those of us who are collectors, so the card collecting community, don't dog anybody for what the hell they pick up. Don't be negative. I don't give a shit if it's a crap ton of base cards from 1993. And in your opinion, it's garbage. Keep that opinion to yourself, because somebody has gone outside of probably their norm, posting it out there for people to see. That takes a pretty substantial step. I'm a homebody, folks. I'm not Mr. Life of the party. Get a few beers in me, maybe a different situation. But I usually sit back and I watch. I'm an observer. I'm a people watcher. That's what I've always been. But at the same time, if somebody's going to put themselves out there in a online environment, into social media, maybe not their norm, to share something with somebody, appreciate it. Whether you think it's trash, don't say anything. You want to build this community and actually build it as a community and build the friendships, like you always end every podcast, Dave. It really is about the friendships. You're not going to build friendships by talking trash or dogging somebody for spending their own fucking money on what they're sharing with people. Dave and I have the relationship to where I can poke at him and give him shit. But it's all in harmless fun and banter, because he can do the same thing to me, and neither one of us are going to get our feelings hurt. But you're never going to see it in the comments. I'm just saying. I'll get off my soapbox, but you can call it that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'll accept that title. It's fine.
I just,
But
when you left the soapbox, I am going to ascend to it, because there has been a couple of rant videos on my channel over the last 8 months, but where I haven't digressed and rambled on excessively. But again, when people are somehow by other collectors of this community, and this happens, I'm guessing, in every community on YouTube, wherever, when you are thrust into, and deservedly, or in this case, undeservedly so, of a quote unquote figurehead, or you're somebody's that, again, I don't know how people's brains work to the point where we see some people as figureheads, or I don't even know how to put it as a term, but you look at a leader, like somebody that is a leader of a community, and a lot of these people are fucking out for themselves, and that's it. And how some of these people, like, I'm not going to go into the politics, religion, all this other bullshit that I went into, whatever episode it was. But when you see on some of these other channels, I watch a lot, because that's what I do. When I don't want to be around people when I'm done with work. Way too many fucking people at work. So you know what? When I'm done with work, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to relax. I don't want human interaction. If I do, it's going to be a very minimal amount. So I watch. I've got a lot of people I'm subscribed to, a lot of people I watch. I don't comment. I'll watch, though. But when these people are praising about the Lord. They're talking about Bible verses, talking about this and that, being a good person, and yet they're sitting over in the corner too, putting certain individuals on a pedestal that are looking down on people for how they spend their money if they're buying Micah, Dystemic. He's on a budget. I know this. But when he picks up a bunch of Twins cards for his collection and he goes over 5,000 different Twins cards, I'm fucking stoked for him because guess what? He's stoked for himself. It doesn't have to be Kirby Puckett Auto every time. It doesn't have to be a Killebrew patch. As long as he's happy. And that's what people should do. You want to talk shit texting with all your idiot friends? Do it. Yep. People will finally, at some point, they'll figure out that these other people are shit. But if you want to tell somebody in a fucking video, hey, Ed, if you're still here, fuck you. Don't buy 2020 tops. I don't want to see these boxes ripped in my feed. Show me vintage. I want high-grade vintage, and that's it. Fuck you. Fuck the people like that. Fuck all that shit. Because that's the cancer. I've said it before. These people, specific people, are cancers to this hobby because of that and that mindset. If people want to say to me, even you're like, Josh Johnson, you're still buying that shit? You're an idiot. I know this. I know. I'm spending $60 on a 101 Josh Johnson patch auto. I know. It's not brilliant. I want it, though. So my money, fuck you. Nobody wants to see Perez Steel cards, but guess what? People put them out there. Hey, they're cool looking to you. I'll give you a thumbs up because you know what? Let's have that, whatever, the algorithm of YouTube so you can get it. It just baffles me, and always will, how people can have in their corner certain viewpoints, certain beliefs, whatever it may be, Sunday mornings, the good book, whatever. And then you have people that they're following, that they're always, oh, you great point. You said it best. Boy, you're an inspiration to the community. The fuck they are. They're fucking idiots. You follow these people like lemmings. If they said, hey, let's walk over here off in the distance, doesn't matter. They're leading you to slaughter. No, Joe, you can. Because I want to see more videos from you. More.
What videos?
I mean, the panic I sent to him was probably about 4, 5, 6 years ago. So, I mean, I want to see one sometime soon. It just, when people tell other people what to do, that they don't like what they're collecting, that they don't approve, who in the fucking blue hell are you? You're fucking nobody, because some of these people that tell people what to collect, they've collected people that are alcohol abusers and child abusers. And they don't want to mention that because they want to hide behind their little curtain and just show you what they want to show. They don't want to. I'll put everything I have out on the table. You can rip me all you want. I've got shower videos. I've got mule milk videos. I've got singing in the Philippines karaoke videos. I've got so much shit out there that you can find. I don't care. Do it.
Well, and that's it. But here's the thing. Let's be. I'm not going to get back on the soapbox by any stretch of the imagination. And by the way, Joe's ears must have been ringing or burning since we were talking about him earlier. Not in a bad way, by the way. For shit, I don't even know where the hell I was going to go with this now. Made me lose my train of thought, and that's all my fault. But bottom line is, and I find it interesting. Typically, we don't get this heated in a lot of this, and that's a good. I mean, that's a good point. There are times in which I go back because I don't want to call, my prime days of YouTube, the heyday of YouTube by any stretch of the imagination. There are some good people out there. There are some good new people that are out there. And I'm trying to,
integrate.
find additional other channels to watch. Like I said, I'm not a big baseball guy. I never have been. I'm not a big hockey guy. Not that there's anything wrong with those at all, because in the end, a community is a group of individuals that share the same passion or appreciation of a certain something. In our case, it is supposed to be of collecting cards, whether that be set collectors, whether that be patch collectors, whether that be auto collectors, Hall of Fame, all inclusive. I'll throw TTMs in there, even though to me it's more like it's little separate little niche, but at the same time, it's still kind of can be combined and lumped into, the whole collecting aspect. Those individuals that play professional sports or whatever, if it truly is supposed to be a community, which I still think it's there, it's taken a left turn as of late, which is evident, in my opinion, because a lot of people that I don't want to call them cornerstones, but those individuals that were on for a long period of time, they have chosen to take other paths or whatever. They feel personally that, it's not the same as what it used to be. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I feel the same way. However, I'm not here to make money. My channel will never be monetized by any stretch of the imagination, because I want to share my pickups or breaks, if I happen to do them, things along those lines, to those few individuals that give a shit to watch my videos.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, my YouTube videos it's a history, of where I started within first making videos and never showing my face, and the nervousness in my voice and things along those lines, to, getting out of my comfort zone and things along those lines. Not to mention, I have my kiddo in some of those videos.
Mm-hmm.
I have, the construction of my new house, and I have stuff from my wedding on there. And, it's there. The part that bothers me is there are still a lot of good people that may still watch videos, maybe not as active, but I'd like to somewhat see a resurgence and to try and see some of that camaraderie and those friendships, start being more the forefront of what the community was really about. And, it's not saying that it'll ever be back that way. Once you take that far left, it's hard to circle back to that. But at the same time, it would be nice to see the possibility of trying to have that resurgence of what things used to be like, and it not really being a focal point of how can I make a quick buck? Mm-hmm. Because it's very frustrating to have the few consistent individuals that we have on here. And, for instance, I've never commented on one of Ed's videos, but I always watch them. And it's not because I dislike his content. It's one of those in which I'm not a big commenter. I never have been. You know, early on in my early years, yeah, I felt like I commented on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some times in which sometimes you can't think of something other than, you know, hey, great pickups. This is not a jab on anybody, but sometimes that gets a little old.
Nice cards.
You know, so it's you want to sit there and try and put a focal point on something to really show that you watched the video. And Ed's more a baseball guy. Don't know what the hell he's thinking. And he's an Eagles guy. I hate the Eagles. So why the hell would I want to comment on his damn video? But at the same time, you know, I do watch Ed's videos. And I know Ed watches the majority of mine. A lot of the time he comments, which I appreciate because, you know, it's one of those in which he knows that, or he's letting me know he's watched it. But I don't do that for the comments. I don't do it for the views. I share the stuff for those people that I think are going to enjoy what I'm sharing or what I'm showing, because I've put a lot of personal shit out there on YouTube about stuff going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My stepson, you know, and being diagnosed with epilepsy, losing my grandfather, losing my grandmother. You know, I wasn't heavily active. I lost my mother a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
She was 67 years old, guys. I brought up when my wife lost, you know, her mother. There's a lot of personal shit that I've put out there because I've built those relationships. And although I may not have the opportunity to have everybody's cell phone number and being able to text them and shit like that, you know, I care enough to let people know what's going on in my life, because that's how you build friendships. That's how you build those relationships. You open yourself up and kind of drop some of those brick walls and things along those lines and allow people to kind of come in. But at the same time, still be somewhat guarded, because there are still people out there that are very smart and they're very slick. Mm-hmm. And they prey on people in hopes to benefit themselves. So to a certain degree, there is still, you still have to somewhat protect yourself, but at the same time, I have taken it to the point of where if people don't want the personal shit, they don't have to watch my stuff. You know, it's more than just the cards. The cards are what unite us, but to build the friendships, you have to be able to talk about some of the personal stuff, and not telling anybody that they need to do that or open up anything along those lines. But, you know, Ty's last video, I mean, he was telling all sorts of stories, you know, as he was, you know, opening his box. That's how you get to know people. And, you know, since blog TV is no longer a thing, there's not a whole lot of options to be able to allow for formulating some of those friendships, unless you start getting outside of your norm and go, you know, hey, shoot me your email address, or, you know, find a way to get in touch with me here. You know, private messages no longer exist on YouTube, and if they do, I've yet to find them again, but I think they're gone. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot harder to form some of those relationships. And I still talk to a few people from way back in those days, but it's nothing what it used to be. And me doing this is even outside of my comfort zone, because things are different these days. And Dave, you know, I love you, but you've always kind of been I don't want to call you the black sheep of the family, but you have always been kind of on the outside looking in. But, at the same time, you came to me, you asked me to be a part of this, and I jumped on it because A, I want to support you, and B, support the message of truly collect what you love and provide insight into an era within the hobby in which we share that connection, which is why we've built that friendship, is because of that era of collecting and the appreciation for what it had to offer. So I wasn't on my soapbox.
Put that you want to get up on there with, but yeah, it's again, I'm not saying, and you're not saying, I'll speak for you in this. You don't need to air any like dirty laundry, what your every personal problem out there. If you're going through some shit, you know what? Most of the time, from what I've been told, because I've said about my depression, I've had that for a number of years. There's still times where I would love to just walk off a cliff and say, you know what? You guys figure it out. I don't care. But you put stuff out there because hopefully one person just says, hey, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, but okay, I just like to go on record. I would, and if anybody can prove me wrong, but they're going to have to give me video proof. I will give somebody something for free. I don't know what the hell it is. If you can go back in any podcast and ever show me video proof that Dave has burped in our podcast. It has not happened. Just saying. Just saying. And if somebody can prove me wrong, I will send you something. I don't know what, but I will send you something.
Yeah, I try not to do the usual huge Homer Simpson, Barney Gumble burps, just because, again, there's 10 years of videos you can hear that in. I mean, I'll burp, but I'll try to keep my mouth closed and keep it quiet, like there or here. But again, it's not like all that's
in your videos, but that's you. That's who you are. That's who people know you as. And that's like your niche thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every once in a while, it's like I start thinking to myself, I'm going, you know what? One of these days,
I'm going to lose his number.
One of these days, I'm going to be hoping that at some point we're going to be live via podcast and my wife let one out because she will put you to shame, Dave. She will put you to shame.
There was one the other night that I had, and it was a horrendous sounding one. It sounds like somebody had like water down my butt crack. And it was so loud, and the smell hit.
Okay, so we're not talking farts here, dude. We're talking belches. We're talking burps here.
6 of one, half dozen of another.
No, see, unless you're right up on somebody, burps usually don't smell unless they're blowing it in your face. But I tell you what, my wife can belch with the best of them.
Yeah, I don't have like the deep, like the huge ones. I'll have like a low, long one, but it won't be just like something that sounds like it's out of Will Ferrell from Elf. It won't be like that where, did you hear that? It's like, oh, people 10 blocks away heard it. What do you think, idiot? But no, I just have like the usual belches. I would never get in like a belching competition because I know people can have guttural ones that are just, you're just like, how the hell did that come out of you? Are you a human or are you a mutant? Tell me yourself.
Well, okay, so go watch, if anybody hasn't done it, go watch some of my wedding videos. You look at my wife, and then if I ever had the opportunity to catch something on video or recording, you would sit there and be like, No fucking way. Okay, not that long. But I mean, you sit there and you're going, holy crap, where the hell did that come from? Now we've got way off topic, but that's what makes these fun sometimes.
Well, that's the thing. You're not going to have this on any other sports card podcast.
No.
Everybody needs to stick to the script per se. I'm like, I know I want to lists, but it's like, who cares? It's like
script. What? Script? What? What's that?
Like this stuff here, like that. It's like, who cares? It's like everybody's commenting it's interactive, and that's what we want. That's all we ask for is if people are watching, guess what? Say something, bring something up. You see that we're gonna both go to wherever. It doesn't matter. But I'll circle back. You don't have to put everything about your life out there. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you don't want to put anything about your life out there, you don't have to. There's people that are policemen. They might work for government stuff. That might be why they don't show their face. That's completely understandable.
Absolutely.
But the way a lot of us that have been around for the past 10 years, we've built the friendships that we've built the past 10 years, is that we know a lot of our struggles, the ups and downs, especially the downs when somebody, again, that's how I first got on YouTube. It was like February 2010. I signed up. I didn't make a video, I think, until May. And so, like, end of April, beginning of May sometime, I think that's when I typed in, like, baseball cards. I don't know. Like, shit. This isn't like eBay where I'm like, I know what I'm searching for. It's YouTube. I have no clue. And Michael Wilkie, Sevens, his video, I think, if it wasn't both his parents, it was one that had, like, some sort of medical emergency driving, like, went off the road, and then, like, 2 days later, it passed away from, like, the heart attack.
That was his mother. I remember that.
And that was, like, the first non-Chris Justice sports card video I saw, because he was obviously super popular at the time.
Yep.
There's a ton of comments, and I'm like, okay, I watch this. Well, shit, this dude's talking about this out there. Like, well, let me watch some of his stuff. And then you see some of the people commenting. Denny, Den 1013. Let's see what the hell is this guy doing?
Yep.
You're sitting there and you're looking like, okay, here it comes.
Now you're gonna freaking call me a liar, and now I'll have to send somebody.
It's after the fact, so they can't splice the tape together. But you started seeing, like, Scoth 2244 or Squeepa.
Yep.
You saw all these people commenting. Adam J. Allo, you're like, what are these guys doing? And you're seeing all these people just showing mail, and you're like, what? And then, like, Adam Aiello with all his, like, medical issues, he'd always talk about them.
Yep.
Everybody talked about something that was probably not in their comfort zone, but at the time there wasn't people. They didn't have the dumb fucking names of these channels.
Nice one, Dave. You woke up his dog, man.
It happens once in a while. But everybody put themselves out there, and that's how you sort of knew these people.
Yep. That's where the foundations kind of would start, to where it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can relate to said individual.
Yeah, you saw Denny talk about Susie and her struggles, and always have that auction. I don't know when it was, like April, I think, because they had some sort of run then, or a walk.
Yeah, the MS walk.
Yep. And so I'm like, okay, you're at least putting yourself out there and just not your cards. But the people now, they have the stupid investor, dealer, flipper, quick money grab in their channel name. You think these people give a shit about a community setting?
No.
No. Never. They want their monetization. They want their fancy graphics. They want charts and fucking whatever else, the graphs. They want comments. They don't give two shits about you. They don't give two shits about us. They don't. They'll never put it out there. And if they do, it's because somehow views have went down. Because I think Jabs was the same way with his like. So it's I don't know. Yeah, I never got to taste those, Ed. At some point, I want to. I got a package for Denny too. I gotta send him, and in the note, I know I'm gonna put reciprocate. I want to try some chocolate chip cookies from Susie. Seemed like everybody else got them. I didn't. Oh, good. Yeah, that. And again, I get where people they're like, okay, I've picked up enough Rutgers people that nobody in them ever is going to make it from the Hall of Fame from Rutgers. And you're just like, oh, the medical stuff or whatever in life gets not in the way, but it takes precedent. But I mean, I'd love to see. And it you used to have Mondays were big, like big video days. You'd have 8, 10 people making videos, and it'd start like at 1 or 2 o'clock Central Time for me, and then go all the way to like 7ish. You'd have the West Coast people, getting their videos up. But you'd have a ton of videos, usually every day. Again, they weren't the 20, 30, 50, 2-hour videos that you see now. You'd have mail days, you'd have a little talk. Carlos, there's a lot of people out there that are doing it. Now, I have yet to find it, but we're giving away this information for free, so we're in the wrong boat.
Oh, Dave, I didn't tell you I'm accepting cash on the side. Haven't gotten any yet, but
I've got I've really started in the TTM community. Through the mail, they're sending me unmarked 20s, so
sweet. When are you going to share some of that? Since it's not just about you, Dave. You may be the host, but there wouldn't be a show without the co-host.
I don't know. I'll ask Ed McMahon. But yeah, we had in the community, again, like Steve said, like I will say, like we'll constantly say, we had drama, we had our bullshit, we had backstabbing and back talking and just shit talking. We every community has that. You sort of try to weed those folks out. You hope to, or you hope it's not just constant, where people are constantly doing that, or at least they can contribute. Like most of those people could. The positive comment, oh, nice Northcliffe, glad you found a rare one, or whatever it was. But now it's not. If hey, I pulled a Tatis, like Cesar said, sell it. You can get this much money for it. You can get $200. Well, maybe I like Tatis. I don't give a shit if it's $5,000. I want it because I like the dude. And if you like something, don't ever feel pressured in by peers or otherwise to sell it. I mean, if you look at the comps and you're like, oh, shit, that black Tatis Topps Series 2 border is going for like $7,000. I'm like, well.
I do, Ed. I remember it quite well. Actually, I think I have that still in my favorited videos.
Who's that by?
Sevens.
Oh, one of his
parodies. Yep.
But yeah, if you see something like a Tatis or Guerrero or something selling for like huge money, you like it, but you're like, okay, it's selling for $8,000. $8,000 can buy me a lot of what I really want. I can probably pick up a whatever base card.
You know, there's medication for that, right?
Baser, you need to find somebody else to have it with. Don't have it with yourself. You're too used to the same thing.
Or switch it up. Use the left hand or right hand, depending on.
Or do it backwards, or like your hands backwards.
Or handstand, whatever.
Yeah. Or listen to Blue Oyster Cult. Whatever. I mean, whatever it is.
You got to change it up from time to time, man.
Yeah. If you do the same thing, guess what? Everybody gets used to it. Everybody.
Yep, it happens.
But yeah, the community aspect now, there's still. I guess I'd liken it to the sprawling out of a city or a growing suburb, because you have people, you're out in a place where, again, there wasn't anybody, or there's just a limited amount of people, and people are just constantly going out there that you didn't think would ever be out that far. It's like, okay, these people move out there. No, you need to have the people that were here, the people that have basically the same core beliefs, the people that want to continuously cultivate those beliefs and grow those with other people that are like-minded. That is correct.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't finished watching the video, but I did get to that part of the story.
We have so many people that want to pretend they're community members, but they obviously aren't. They're trying to either better their channel, and by better I mean just get more subscribers to monetize it. Doesn't matter how much income you're pulling in, you're still trying to monetize it, or trying to get away from, or trying to get secrets from other people that, hey, how did you get this many subscribers? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? How? And they really don't care about people. And again, when you're a figurehead, appointed or not, of the community, of a community, you should try to, and again, you don't have to be like a council of one or a council of five to have other people in. What's up, Brad? I didn't see you jump in. You have to actually be somebody that believes in community. You can't be one that puts on a mask or a false cape for purposes to just build yourself up to make the illusion that you are somebody that gives a shit. It's trademarked already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he trademarked that, Ed. Sorry, you're out of luck.
You read so well, and you know what that means. The part that, and I hearken and I ramble on about it, and I sound like a drunken derelict. It's just how these people constantly follow the people that you're like, this guy's just in it for himself. These people are in it just for themselves, for personal gain, personal benefit. You can have 100 fucking commenters on a video, no responses, maybe by other people. They don't care, but it's still, they're pedestalized, and they're not part of the community that you and I want and think should be the true community of our YouTube trading card world.
Who gives a shit about Dan Marino? Anybody in here give a shit about Dan Marino?
Who?
I forget. Did he ever win a Super Bowl?
I think he got there once, but that was it.
Much love, Brad. Much love. Much love.
So yeah, the community thing I'll speak again for Steve, but Steve and I both, again, reiterating a point, I will beat until the horse is glued. It's, if you're going to be a community, don't just portray it, pretend to be it. You need to actually, and it's not a buy-in, it's you actually need to do it. You actually need to be that person that gives a shit about somebody that has 50 subscribers and somebody that's got 4,000. You can't sit there. It's always what you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yep.
And there's a lot of weak links right now in the community because people just want to fucking flip cards, get money, get YouTube famous, put their face out there on every fucking video, even though they don't know jack shit. And people follow them because, for whatever reason, the YouTube algorithm pushes them to the top because they got the most subscribers and the most fucking whatever. It's just, and back then with us, it wasn't. It's just like, okay, I see somebody posting on Scott's video. I want, who the hell's that? Michael's video. I don't know this dude. Smitty's video. Who's that? And that's how you found people.
Yep.
It wasn't constant bombardment with the same jackasses and assholes that don't know anything or just are pompous dickheads. So I don't know. I'll try to step off that soapbox, but I'm always near it.
Well, and that's the thing, though, Dave. Let's be real. It's one of those that, and to a certain degree, that's why I even have stepped back to a certain degree, not just from a change in collecting priorities or anything along those lines. It's because of the influx of what I feel is not to be beneficial to continuing to build a community. Not that, losing a lot of individuals, so to speak, has had an impact. To a certain degree, that has had some impact. But at the same time, a lot of the influx as of late has been strictly focused on one thing that is not the core value of building said community, so to speak. And for me, depending on when I get a chance to watch a video or whatever, I do try and leverage some of those comments on certain videos of individuals that I still watch to, kind of just branch out a little bit. I'm a little bit more selective to a certain degree of who I kind of let in more in depth into my personal life, so to speak. But at the same time, that's the only way that everything's going to continue to build. And for those individuals out there who truly join for the main purpose of the community, then those are the ones that we still need to find ways to, kind of bump up and get that visibility and things along those lines. Not that you're a figurehead, not that I'm a figurehead, by any stretch of the imagination, but at the same time, there are a lot of individuals out there that I may not get the support and the appreciation for what they're bringing to the table, putting themselves out there, actually in it for the right reasons and things along those lines. I know Ed has pointed me to a few individuals that I have subscribed to and, things along those lines. And, back in those days, you didn't have to subscribe to somebody and put a, hey, I subbed, appreciate the sub back type thing. Either they do or they don't. It's one of those that this isn't all about the sub count anymore. Back in the day, to a certain degree, it was, but, for those of us who don't monetize our channel, sub count is irrelevant. You've never seen my ass, which means you're not subscribed to me because I don't have an ass. My wife just gave me this like odd look over here.
Subscribe to your ass.
No, the comment was I only subscribe to people with a nice ass, and I said I don't have a nice ass. I don't have an ass, so therefore I'm guessing you're not subscribed to my channel.
Oh, that's facts. You don't have an ass.
Yes, I know. So now everybody who will watch this knows for a fact that I have no ass.
You have no ass and you don't subscribe to ass.
I subscribe to your ass. Does that count? Hello. I just got my wife's ass in my face. See, and where else can you go on a podcast where you get shit like that?
Yeah, I'm not finding that anywhere else ever.
This is real, folks. This is real. Which is why I'm enjoying this, because the comments, the interaction, and yes, we do have a focal point in all this, but at the same time, that's not what drives the conversations. You guys drive the conversations, and this is what I remember, of course, back in the day from a blog perspective. Granted, back in those days, there weren't topics of conversations ever. It was, all of us going out and hanging out. But, at the same time, because of our appreciation, yours and my appreciation of the 90s in trying to put the focal point on football, that's allowed us to build on that and to build these conversations and these interactions and things along those lines too.
Yeah, again, we've got our bullet points or whatever, but again, it's usually wherever you guys start commenting, that's where we're going to go. I'd rather talk about that than, again, completely ignore the people that are actually tuning in for this stuff.
Yep.
And chatting and, again, making a concerted effort to listen to our rambling and nonsense, and then at least try to ask stuff, or maybe they'll have a point and they'll get us going down another path. And what Ed said too, I'll get to you in Brad.
Well, and on the flip side though too, Dave,
that was something I don't like. I haven't watched one video of Phil's polls, and I know other people have. That's fine. Again, you're entitled to do with your time what you want. In a legal sense, of course. But again, you want to watch Phil's polls on YouTube? Do it. I'm not watching a guy bust transcendent that has more money than he'll ever even know what to do with. Because you make a picture at absolute best. A monster bust. And now he's some sort of...
Let's go. Dumbass. Let's go, boys. Inside. You're done. Let's go.
Well, and on the flip side, sorry, I'm trying to plug in my laptop here because my power is about to die. I'm going to wait for the lag to stop, because anytime I plug it in or unplug it, it kind of goes wonky on me. Shit. No, I forgot my point. Anyways, go ahead, Dave.
But again, it's somebody who's got millions of dollars, and all of a sudden now he can bust this, he can bust that. It's like, well, no, unlimited funds.
I'm about to shut everything off. That's
Somebody needs to go and become a comedian or something, because he's popping out the one-liners like it's like no tomorrow. Jeez. I mean, there was a point I wanted to make, and now, for the life of me.
Twice we had the memory.
Yeah, well, I had a day from hell today. But, this allows me to kind of get away from the day's realities, and whether it's a shitty day or not, I can, interact with. Oh, I remember what it was. Since we were talking about, the interactions and stuff along those lines, and you kind of piggybacked off of that, and I'm pretty sure it was, and this goes back a few episodes now, but Vinny made a point to thank us for acknowledging him and interacting with him as he was posting things on and things along those lines. And that's one of those in which you and I had early conversations before we really started doing this, that regardless of where things go or what topics of conversation that we have, it really is going to be based on the interaction that we get. Because to me, like I said, we're not trying to become YouTube famous. We're not looking to, become StreamYard famous. Oh, shut up, Dave. Now, if we got some, sponsorship offer or whatever, we're talking a different situation. However, I can only speak for myself, but I can probably feel like Dave would be the same way. It's not going to change who we are as individuals, because we're doing this because it's something that we enjoy. But at the same time, you guys are here spending time with us, and you guys are the reason as to why we're able to consistently have some of these conversations. Because if it weren't for you, we could end a topic fairly quick if you really think about it. But because of what you guys put out there and some of the questions and stuff along those lines, that allows us the opportunity to kind of go down certain paths and things along those lines. I hadn't read the comments yet, Dave, so obviously you're thinking about something. I'm trying to read at the same time we've had the conversation. But, the appreciation of the support that we've had in doing this in the short amount of time is it's what makes it fun.
I will. Tampax, Kotex, Depends, always. Summer's Eve.
So I can get some free beer.
I think you're making it worse for making
Yeah. Other podcasts, people do integrate the comments. It usually is such a set.
Just stay over there. Don't get on my side of the couch.
Or whatever they want to do, it's set up for
Keep
me.
your head down so you can lay your butt down.
If there isn't any room to freelance, and if there is, I mean, it's just a minute amount, and then they got to get back. We got to get to the format. We can't go stray too far away. I want to have a format. I want to have a few bullet points, but at the same time, if we get away from that, who cares?
Yep.
Is Kotex gonna not put us in pads with wings? No. Is Bud Light gonna give us some old Bud Select beer? No. We can do what we want, and you guys, the audience, the people watching, and then anybody that comments after the fact, if they comment and say, hey, what about this, this, or this, you guys are the driving force behind us. You guys are the motor, we're the vehicle with the wheels.
Well, and that's why this is always enjoyable for me. Whether we stay on topic, whether we get on to the talking points is irrelevant. I mean, it really is, because this is our outlet to have conversations. Yeah, it's because my wife and kiddo are watching TV. And I had to come inside and
Plug it in.
Plug in my laptop because it was about to die. But, it's one of those in which and I alluded this to earlier. You know, it was one of those in which I did take some time to think about the offer from Dave, because when you put yourself out there in situations like this, you know, there's always going to be critics to a certain degree. And not that I give a shit what anybody thinks. At the same time, I want, when we come on live and we do things along these lines, that it's enjoyable for those who spend the time with us. It's nothing worse to come in and, you know, have these conversations. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that.
And thanks, Ed.
Well, it was Dave's idea, but I took the offer. And I'm doing this for free, by the way.
Or thank you.
But, you know, at the same time, I'm going to step outside and hope that it's not, my laptop doesn't die. That's right. Well, if my laptop dies, it's going to be your fault, so I'm going to blame all these guys on you. Turn it down. Shit, I left my beer inside too. Damn it. I'm going to have to go get that here in a minute. It's one of those in which this has given us an avenue to, yes, talk about something that we enjoy, that we love, that we have the passion and everything else along those lines. But at the same time, for me personally, Dave's been consistently making videos. He knows everybody that pretty much has come in here, and it's kind of put myself even out there to try and build some of those relationships though too along the way. And the fact that with an extension cord, to wrap around my neck, or maybe Dave's neck. Maybe they're trying to imply something, Dave. No, just I shouldn't have said that. That was a little off base, but then again, that's me. This is real, guys. This is
the PC police are here. Oh no.
This is as real as you're gonna get. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass. This is who I am. And really, Dave?
I was hoping you would. I thought that was part of the deal.
What, blow smoke up your ass?
Sure.
That's for another time, Dave. We won't go there.
That'll be the after dark one.
Just as long as we don't push the 5-hour mark and actually can't go on live later on in the month or whatever.
I know.
But this has been refreshing for me. It really has. And the fact that I have to say, and Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, this has probably been a lot more interaction tonight consistently than what we even had, last week. And last week we had quite a bit of interaction. But this tonight has been freaking awesome. Awesome.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Did you win it? Ty, did you win it?
That's the thing that, again, people, if you're gonna, folks in Europe, you comment, you keep the chat going. It was the same thing on blog where, hey, we'll start off with the new Avenged Sevenfold season. Metallica, we'll get into like what's your favorite Metallica song? What's this? What's that? What's over here? What's this? Everything just kept manifesting and going on and on and on. It wasn't just like, these are 4 topics, then 10 minutes on this, 12 minutes on this, 5 on this, 18 on this, and we're done. No. Yes. You guys say anything like that, again, we're your laugh will somehow integrate like blowing smoke asses or vice versa into the show, where you say that in pretty much any other podcast and people are running to the local church and praying for you. That's going to happen here.
Yeah, we're real.
Yeah, and like you said, if people don't like me, I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't care if they're critical of me either. That doesn't matter. I don't think it ever will. I mean, when you start on YouTube, yeah, you're super nervous because you're putting yourself out there on a social platform, as it were, and you don't know anyone, or you don't know what to think. But once you start getting comfortable, and if you've done this long enough, like we have, it's who gives a shit if somebody doesn't like you? Guess what? Kick rocks.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, kind of like how you, to a certain degree, when you first start out, you try and be very careful, I guess. But at the same time, for something like this, I really don't give a shit. This is who I have always been, and yes, I'm very opinionated, but a lot of people are. I'm still very selective of how I present my opinions, but at the same time, I want to be me. I want to be real. I want people to actually know me as an individual and not some fake person who's trying to be liked by everybody. And early on, that's who I tried to be, because, you know, I thought that was the thing to do. But the longer I was around, it got to the point to where it's like, look, not everybody's going to like me. Not everybody's going to like my comment or my content. Not everybody's going to enjoy or, you know, agree or disagree with my opinion. It didn't matter, because, you know, Dave and I have had multiple conversations over the years to where, you know, there's individuals that he likes. Those said individuals I didn't give two shits about, or vice versa. The thing about it is, when you build friendships, you don't have to agree with everything, ever. That gets dull, boring, and then it really boils down to you becoming a follower.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave and I have seen that happen too.
Mm-hmm.
But just because, you know, Dave likes one person and I can't stand him for my own personal reasons, that has not impacted the friendship. And that's going to happen. So if I can offer any advice to those individuals that, you know, are coming into the community, if that's still what we want to call it, you're going to make enemies. You're not going to be liked by everybody. Just be you, be the person that you want to portray as you, but have it be genuine. End of conversation. Be who you are. Don't try and be anything other than who you are. Because at some point, and we've seen this too, it doesn't take long for you to be found out. And that is a lot worse than, you know, just being who you are. Because me personally, I've been accused of being something that I'm not. I've been threatened by it. I've been threatened to be called out by it. And, you know, it is what it is. But I have always been the same person in my videos and everything along those lines. And for those individuals who know me, who actually know me and have taken the time to get to know me, they know what's true and what's not. So, just saying.
Yeah. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Yep.
If you, and again, it's not true for everybody, but if you actually want to get to know a person through conversation, dialogue, watching their videos or doing texting, calling, whatever, give that person the opportunity to do that with you. Because if you don't, I mean, you can't have a one-way street to build a friendship.
Yep.
And don't, yeah, what Steve said, and we'll both say it, I'm sure, any episode that this comes up. Do not ever be somebody who you're not and expect to constantly, like, just keep it. Well, we know that, Cesar. We know that. Don't expect people not to find you out.
Yep.
If people are doing the work on blowout to track down fake patches, fake this, fake that, people, if you think you're smarter than people to give you, you don't give off the perception that you're fake, and you think people are stupid enough not to figure you out,
Then you're stupid for thinking that.
who's the stupid one not? And again, I hope with certain people in this community that shouldn't be in the community because they're not for the community, they're for themselves. I hope those people continuously get found out by these charlatans and the sheep that are following them, because at some point, take those rose-colored glasses off, because you're not going to benefit by commenting on their videos when you know damn well they're not even subscribed to you. But again, some of these people just need to be around the popular kids.
Yep.
Get that rub off of them and feel like they matter. I don't give a fuck. I never will. I never have. There's people I like, and I don't know. If they don't like me, that's fine. Then I don't need to like them. But at the same time, people don't need to be constantly looking for somebody else's approval. Most of us on here are grown-ass people. If you're still looking,
or we portray that we're grown-ass people.
Most of us are older than 21, so the days of constantly looking for approval, those should be far gone. They aren't, but again, at some point, everybody's sky, the clouds have to part. You have to have that ray of sunshine come down right at your feet, and you have to see the light. If you don't, I mean, that's on you personally, not you, but generally.
Shit.
Cesar, we know that. We saw the pool video. We saw you jumping in there. I mean, you had sewing club members that were just amped about that because they're like, that's a thimble. Somebody's got a thimble by their junk. I mean, quit telling us tales out of school. I mean, we know that.
I needed some good laughs tonight. Thanks for the comedy relief. My day sucked. Ay.
You just need to, again, be genuine. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Yep.
You don't need to be a dick every time. Just boost people up. Maybe you've seen a couple of videos, they seem like they're down. Comment on them. Say, hey, nice cards. Just even that may pump them up a little bit. Just to Get them out of the dumps or the doldrums. I mean, you don't know what people are dealing with until you've walked a mile in their shoes.
Absolutely.
Some of these people that don't have fucking huge high-end collections, they have 6 views in the video, no comments. Why? Just, it's 5 minutes of your time. You're gonna watch Phil's pulls and a billionaire fucking get shit sent to him, or do you want to actually, hey, this guy's posting on this, he's posting videos, he's commenting on that. Why not take 5 minutes? Hey, great mail day. Love seeing such and such.
Yep.
That could fucking make their week. Especially, again, you don't know what's going on when the camera isn't turned on.
Yeah, I've been doing it about as long as Dave has. Actually, I think, well, there's 2 people, Dave and Sictifer, who pushed me to ultimately started making videos. I was on blog TV for quite some time. I had a YouTube channel. I mean, I had one. I just hadn't posted anything. Which there was a lot of that transpired in what we called the prime time of, YouTube days. A lot of people had YouTube channels and used the same name to join blog, but they didn't post any videos. But you still got to know them in blog chats and everything along those lines. And Dave and Chris actually are 2 people responsible. Ooh, excuse me, for convincing me to start making videos. And now, of course, you have this guy who has no filter, and you won't see that on my videos by any stretch of the imagination. But this part is real. At the same time, at least in my videos, the reactions are genuine and everything along those lines. And it is what it is. But I am gonna kind of deviate for a minute because don't point your finger at me, Dave.
I'm giving you a thumbs up. I'm like, hey.
That's not a thumbs up. That's thumbs to the side. I don't know what direction. Maybe those directions are different up there in Minnesota.
Well, the community, it took that left direction.
No, that's one of these. Get it right. So for those who actually do watch my channel when I do post, which is very random, I am curious, and this is a serious question. I am curious to know, because my pickups have been limited. Any suggestions other than Dave's making the freaking PC showcase? Outside of that, I'm just curious. Any suggestions? Would you sit through a rummage video of me going through a box of random shit? Do you want to see sets? Do you want to, I want some ideas here, because for those people who actually care to potentially watch my videos, I'd actually like to get their feedback, because typically when I ask, I get no response other than just make a fucking video.
Mm-hmm. I would even say too, if you don't want, you've said you want to do stuff in years, and I've said do stuff in sets, like the Pro line in one video, Score in one video, Score Select in another. Why not? You've got the rows of boxes, or the boxes with 3-4 rows. Do one row. Just say, hey, this is row 1, and then put as your header.
See, that's what I'm saying, Ed. I'll watch. Well, that doesn't help. I mean, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I do. But at the same time, no, I can't pick 10. It would be like 165.
Do top 10 die cuts, top 10 refractors, top 10 case hits.
That would be
top 10 cards under 25. Top 10 cards 25 to 50.
That's a lot of work.
want ideas. That's a lot of
I
work.
know. No, I'm not dogging it. I'm just. I appreciate finally somebody's actually freaking saying something.
Where a chicken cost, right there. You don't even have to get the costume. You just got to get the
Non-traditional.
do a top 10 cards in your collection that nobody has a fucking clue about. So, oh my God, again, not that you have or don't have. Like, wow, I've got an Elway PSA 10. I've got a Hank Aaron rookie PSA 3 or whatever. And you're like, you do? Oh, shit. Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
There's a train wreck.
Yep.
Mark's here. Fuck.
All right, we're at 2 hours, 45 minutes. Should we call it a night, Dave?
All right, yeah, look at the time. Oh, boy.
Top 10 hardest cards to find in my collection.
And again, that's.
I'm at least appreciating the ideas. Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, though. It's I mention certain things from time to time for those individuals that may or may not, watch. A lot of people still to this day don't realize that I was a set collector for a long time. Whether that be purchasing sets, whether that be building sets, whatever. But at the same time, a lot of that shifted focus when I was so heavily focused on TD. Benny, that's a good one.
Or I'd say two, do a top 10 sets you've completed. Maybe do top 5 hand correlated, top 5 bought, and then do a top 10. Hey, instead of doing one video for every set you aren't completed yet, write what you need sets that haven't completed yet. Or top 5 of the 90s, top 5 of the 2000s, whatever. But I mean,
whatever.
And then that way you can also give, hey, down in the description box, after you like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, whatever.
Applause.
Yeah. Monetize or send me money or send me through the mail, or here's my PayPal address. That say, hey, here's what I'm looking for: 2002 Topps Chrome. Here's what I'm looking for: 2003 Topps Chrome, 2007, whatever. That you're looking for this stuff, and again, here's my email, non-work email or whatever, and be like, boom, there it is. Maybe you'll get some stuff done. Or finished off, I should say.
I have a few of those, Brad.
Yeah, give us your best running backs that aren't named Terrell Davis. Top 10 of that. Of the Broncos.
Well, I was going to say that would only be limited to the Broncos.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, they had Tatum there and Gary, Mike Anderson.
Does that include Maurice Claret?
Well, I mean, if you got a card that's awesome, a Claret, and you think that's in your top 10, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't consider it awesome. It's just, the fact that I felt like I needed one.
I think I had one at one point too, but I think it's long gone. The best, I think I have a Tatum Bell. What was it? 04 or 05? I think 04. Or was he 05? Whatever he was, I still have it. SP Authentic Gold, 25 patch auto.
Oh, nice. All right, guys. So I'm going to. There's only been a select few individuals, so I'm gonna take you into my office real quick. Of course, like I said, my wife has taken over the office, so there's shit all over the place. So hopefully everybody's sitting down. See if I can move some more shit out of the way here real quick. I don't know how well this is going to show up because it is kind of dark in here. All right. I'm going to share. I'm not going to go into details or rattle off any of this stuff. But for those who know me, have seen a lot of these pictures. And that goes all the way to the floor. So just throwing it out there. And since most everybody who's been in here, figured I'd kind of give a glimpse for those who care. That's all card stuff. Top 10 cards as I cough all over the place.
COVID.
No. Wow, Brad, I'm a little hurt. Did you just call me a hoarder?
You did. That's...
So, like I said, most people, other than those who I've built friendships with and everything else along those lines, have seen some of that. Yeah, my office now, my work office, so to speak, is now the kitchen table. Because with what my wife does, she works with very, what's the word I'm looking for? So she works for a Medicare exchange company, and what she does deals a lot with personal information, i.e., income, social security numbers, stuff like that. So it wasn't wise for her to be sitting at the kitchen table, even though you can't see, and even though you can't see, in through the back window or things along those lines, because where you see me sitting at the table, that goes into our backyard. So it's not like people can see. But she's also on customer calls and things along those lines. So it was easier for her and more beneficial for information security for her to actually move into the office. And since most of my phone calls are internal with the people I work, like conference calls and video calls and stuff along those lines, it was just easier for me to move to the table. So yeah. But remember, all that stuff you saw in that closet, that's for 36 years. And granted, a lot of the stuff in my early childhood I don't have, but that's a lot of years of collecting, guys. But there's only a small handful of people who have ever seen pictures or anything of the closet.
Well, now you got some quality suggestions to make multiple pieces of content to monetize your channel and finally get over that 1,000 subscriber hump, and then
Oh
You
yeah,
have
because that's what I'm looking for.
a cool contest with great giveaways sponsored by Panini and Tops and Upper Deck and
Nope. Nope.
I do
Yeah.
remember these. That was what, beginning of the year. Nonsense.
I gave stuff away just because I gave a shit. Because that's just what I did. And they always came with no strings attached. So for those people who do care packages, always remember it is to be no strings attached. Period. End of conversation.
Yeah, again, that's a thing back in our day too. When we did it, we most of the time, and we've had these conversations off air or whatnot. If people ever felt the need, let's say somebody wanted to get something for their PC, that cornerstone card, that centerpiece card, even a card that like, fuck, I've been looking for this thing for like 8 years. I haven't seen one. It's up now. Would you mind if I sold X to get Y? Come to the person that sent you that package. Ask them. Be a man, be a woman, whoever, be anything. Whatever you are, whatever you classify, be that and ask the person that sent it to you, hey, I've got this dilemma. It's a moral thing more than anything. If I can sell what you sent me, which I am super appreciative of, I will always cherish the thought behind it. There's something that's my card, the one that I've been looking for forever and a day, whatever it is. Would you mind if I sold this? Because I potentially could have somebody, I haven't fished around. I have somebody that may want this or can sell it.
Jeez.
I didn't get one of those.
Ay, ay, ay.
It makes me sad. Ask the person. Don't let somebody go up on a blowout, go up on a Beckett, or when Beckett actually mattered on some message board or eBay and see, hey, somebody says, hey, wasn't this such and such you sent to so and so? Yeah.
It's the playoffs, Ty. They will go until a game is over.
Oh yeah. It's Mark, the old stuff, nobody cares about the old community. This community now of people that just care about money. Oh, I feel like I've died and gone to Scrooge McDuck's chamber of coins. I mean, I'm in heaven. I am absolutely in heaven. But yeah, make sure, again, you ask the person to sell it because, again, there could be some very hurt feelings if that person took a great deal of time and effort to try to get you something that they thought you wanted, and then all of a sudden they see it somewhere else. Where, again, if you ask them, that's, I won't say fine, but again, at least you're going and asking the person instead of not caring and just being, fuck it, they sent it to me, it's mine, I don't care. I'm a charlatan. Fuck you all. No, just do a decent thing. That's one thing that most of us, from again the old guard,
Yep.
we took the time. It wasn't always about the monetary value. Some people you could, if you were able to pull something or pull some strings, those tampon strings, if you were able to get those and get something somebody really wanted and get it, like Joe, perfect. I was able to pick up a Joe Panic, I think auto tops. I don't know if it was like a definitive or something. Maybe museum collection jumbo patch to like 10. I saw it. I'm like, oh fuck, I'll get it to him. That's somebody I know is going to appreciate it. Guess what? He loved it. It didn't have to be a Barry Bonds 101 patch auto superfractor. It was something that I knew he cared about, and something when I told him, hey, open it up on video. I don't care. I don't need to have somebody saying, oh, go subscribe to Dave, do this, do. No, I just want to hear your reaction.
Yep.
Go see it opening with the camera towards their face. I just want to hear that. And that's making people swear on video that never swear. Like Brad that time, I got him with a 101, what was it, a Daniel Thomas logo shield, because I found it in a shop down in the Twin Cities. I love doing that, not because it's going to get me subscribers, it's going to get me famous, because other people are going to be like, oh boy, what a generous guy, I want to be his friend. No, because these people I care about. I want to see videos from them, so guess what? If they're not making videos, I'll make sure they're going to make a video.
Yep.
And I just want to hear the reaction, because again, good people deserve to have good things happen to them.
Well, I just when was it? A few days ago, I went back and rewatched. Not that I rewatch my videos frequently, but I went back and rewatched the video of the freaking Upper Deck Retro Platinum 101 that Ryan sent me years ago. And I can probably go on record and say that I don't think I've ever cussed in a video until that one.
I still haven't.
And it's one of those in which I was taken so off guard that, you know, it was one of those in which it was like, oh crap. Oops, I dropped the F-bomb. But the comments that came in on that video and things along those lines, that's the reason why you always sent care packages. It was all about the reaction. And you can always tell genuine reactions compared to those that seem forced.
Mm-hmm.
And there was always a reason why I was very selective with individuals that I sent care packages to. Later on, now early on, I was trying to build sub count because that's, you know, that was a thing in those days. You know, try and reach that 1,000 sub plateau because that was a big thing. Kiss my ass, Dave.
I still haven't gotten near it.
I haven't either.
But I've been making the videos for 10 years. I want to be on. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and that was the thing. But that was, you know, 1,000 subs.
That was a big number.
When it came to the community was huge. I mean, that was huge. But later on, it got to the point to where, okay, care packages went to people that I wanted to send stuff to out of the kindness of my heart. And it's one of those in which I still feel as though I always sent more than what I ever received, because that's what was important to me. I didn't give a shit about people returning the favor because that was never the expectation or the anticipation. Yeah, it was cool if they did, but it was never, I go back to the no strings attached, you know, just because just because I was thinking of you when I happened to stumble across this and I wanted to get it into your collection. But at the same time, it was never about anything that could be returned, because that was not important.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wanted to send me something, it was because they wanted to and they thought about you in that case. And I've been speechless multiple times in my YouTube career, because that's what makes those situations enjoyable, because you get dropped a bomb because you weren't anticipating, or and you weren't expecting anything, and people taking the time to truly pay attention to your content and your videos and put that thought in that return package is what really was phenomenal. And that's not saying I'm trying to like revive the whole just because movement. You do see care packages from time to time, but it's nothing like what it was. And part of that also, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it was always, those packages were sent with strings attached, not verbal or anything along those lines, but that was the expectation. And that was never what the care package or the just because movement was about. It was truly sending something because you wanted to send somebody something. And whether or not you pulled it, you found it in boxes, or you bought it for them specific, it was all about doing stuff because that's what you wanted to do. It was never for the kudos or the additional subs. Like I said, early on, I was trying to build the sub count, but that's before I knew any better. But it really became, focused on, okay, I have my set of what I considered close-knit friends, those who I would focus on. However, I tried my best, if anybody took the opportunity to send me something, to return the favor. Although it may take a few weeks, a few months, I like to try and return the favor, because that was me. You took the time to send me something for whatever it is, whether it be TD, whether it be whatever was going on at that point in time. I wanted to make sure that I showed that appreciation by returning the favor. I really wish there would be more care packages, live opening care packages, not, recaps of said care package. No, open that bitch live, share that reaction, so that individual who took that time, who can you can show that appreciation by the reactions.
Yeah, that was whenever somebody didn't do it live. That was the thing I never got. I never understood that.
Jeez. Somebody needs to go into comedy. I think you have a calling there.
No, not Caesar.
I'm just saying, he has been spot on.
Have you seen any of this stuff before?
I've watched a few of his videos.
Yeah, the Dodgers would miss him. They wouldn't have anybody to do the groundskeeping out there. He can't go into comedy. Not in these uncertain times of social distancing and sheltering in place. And that's the thing. It's if I say, hey, give me your address, I'm gonna send you something that's not much. Just open it on video. Open it live.
That was the expectation. That
Yeah.
was the expectation. And unless the video failed, which, let's be real, sometimes it happened.
Yep.
But you felt genuinely bad in the event that you tried to record it live and something happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you genuinely felt like shit. Man, I am, for whatever reason, something jacked up, and you felt bad.
And like you've said too, and I'll say again, it was something that was taken. It's because we watched the person's videos or somebody watched their videos.
Yep.
It wasn't, well, I'm going to send you a PSA 10 Soto and a PSA 5 Pete Rose. Then you're going to say my name in your video. And then guess what? I'll get subscribers and I'll get more people to watch and I'll be popular.
And then maybe I can monetize my channel. And
it was, hey, you like the Falcons. We'll send you Sevens, a bunch of Matt Ryan shit. Mini Boog, you liked you liked Harry Douglas, or that's who you're. I'll send you that. Chris, I'll send you a bunch of Barry Sanders.
Or Lion stuff because that was your PC. Yeah. Or Tulowitzki because that was your baseball guy.
Yeah. Pettigrew, you're going to get a bunch of his shit. And Titus Young, that eventually made its way to me.
But at the same time, it was, and that's, Ed, that's the unfortunate thing. And it's not that was the foundation of the hobby, but, at the same time, I keep going back to this. If being a community, you didn't join it with the expectation of getting free shit.
Mm-hmm.
If that was your expectation, then you got found out real quick and you didn't last long.
Yeah.
But at the same time, since we all share the same hobby and trying to, open up additional lines of, communication or, outlets to acquire certain cards, whether it be sets, whether it be a player collector, or whatever. People paid attention. For those individuals that actually truly watched your stuff, 99.9% of the time, you didn't get some random shit that had nothing to do with what you collected. And that's because people paid attention and people truly put forth the effort to send you something out of the kindness of their heart, whether or not it was something that you had, didn't have, whatever. People still put forth the effort to watch your stuff and to potentially send you something that you could appreciate. Well, and to me, that's a problem. And to be brutally honest, that's never, like I said, it was all about no strings attached, but at the same time, like I said, I can only speak for me personally. I tried to return the favor. There are some times in which that could prove to be difficult. And I could probably count on one hand that maybe I didn't return the favor. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't intentional. It was the fact that I never could get enough information from an individual to try and formulate something to return the favor. It wasn't for lack of effort. But it's that double-edged sword. And, for instance, and this is something that I talked to a previous YouTuber who's just recently come back making videos from time to time. Uh, and I'm not going to throw names out there. I'm just not going there. But used to get multiple messages. Send me free shit. Send me free cards. I see you sending out all these packages to people. Send me free shit. No. That is not how shit works. Those individuals that received care packages from said individual because they were a pillar of the community or they had a substantial sub base did it because individuals took time to build those relationships to where that person felt the need to send something to somebody. But nobody ever should come to expect something for free. If that's what you're here for, go fly a fucking kite, go away. Because people would hit up those with over 1,000 subs and ask for free shit. And never once was that expected from anybody outside of those individuals that were coming in expecting free shit. And see, Ed, I could see that happening. I mean, don't quote me on this, but you're probably pushing close to 1,200 subscribers. You've been around a long time. I could see that. And, that's not something that you're going to throw out in your videos because, there's no reason to put people on blast because that's not who you are. For other individuals that were in the same boat, they didn't go out and blast them either because it was trying to build a community and get people to understand. The concept of the care package was these people didn't get something because they sent a message, hey, dude, send me free shit. That's not how it works. So are they going to the finals?
Yeah, if it's Islanders, Dallas, I don't know if that's game 7 or not. Again, I just haven't been paying attention, but if it is.
Dallas is going to the finals. They won last night in overtime. So I know they're going to the finals.
That should. Islanders, if they're going, that's a huge win for them. Because, again, the Capitals were stupid enough to fire their coach. I think that Barry Trotz. And he went, okay.
3 days. Well, and you've been around a long time too. And I can't ever recall a situation. Well, and I could be speaking off base, but me personally, I don't remember ever getting any inquiries. I think I may have gotten one of, well, hey, I see you send out a lot of care packages. What's the whole premise behind it? How do I get on that list? And, I did my best to, express that these are individuals that I've become friends with, or, they took the time to send me something, so I'm returning the favor type situation. But I don't ever recall somebody, coming to me directly saying, hey, send me free shit.
I was going to say, if we had a message system from years gone by, there might be something in there. So again, I want to say I got either a message or a comment on a video once about, well, you send so and so a package. Why don't you send me one? I don't fucking know you. I don't give a shit about
Yep.
you. You're not
Yep.
putting any videos out. Why the fuck am I gonna do that?
Yep.
That's why one of those other charlatans in Apple that put Packer 87 got tons of subscribers. That's one of his fucking ploys. Hey, here's my address, or my address is in the description. Guess what? Send me a care package and I'll shout you out. Fuck off. You're a loser. Shut up. That's the shit that we need to get the hell out of this community to actually have it as a community.
Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle cards. Yeah, like everybody in this community has those laying around. Don't get your mantle. I know you have one, Dave.
What are you talking about?
Which you haven't shown in a video in a while, by the way.
I just had to get a drink of water.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dave. I knew exactly what you were going to do.
Not me.
Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth cards. Wow.
Yeah, or at the whoever's hot at the time. I'm looking for Soto and whatever and whatever. Do you have any you could spare? Yeah, this isn't spare change out of like a Fortune 500 law firm or whatever it is. It's a business. It's like, seriously? Yeah. I'll send Cesar Midgie Trout cards.
Yeah, I've got like 10 of those laying around. I'll send you one. Not a problem.
Yeah, that's when people start asking for handouts. That's you pretty much know to kick those people to the curb quickly because they're not going to provide anything beneficial for a community, yourself, anybody you know. It's just idiots.
Well, and that was never everybody provided their PC player or their team and things along those lines, and those conversations always took place. And at the time, it's not like you were sending like $1,000 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it was $100, $200 from a value or even from a sell value perspective in certain situations, depending on when it was. Christmas was always the time in which I loved watching the shit out of videos because there were people would splurge. And I did it 2011. Pretty sure it was 2011. And I spent a shit ton of money. A shit ton of money. But I had a blast shopping for the individuals in which I sent stuff to. And I still go back and watch those videos to this day. With the way that the hobby is right now, there is not, well, okay, I can't speak for everybody. And even me personally, I'd have a hard time. But if I had a really good buddy that was a Washington Nationals collector, and I had a spare, not a Nationals, I'm thinking freaking Strasburg for whatever reason, but an Angels collector, and I had a spare Trout rookie, I'd have a hard time sending it to somebody. But at the same time, the thought would still come in my head because of the whole idea and concept of the care package. Monetary value is irrelevant in a care package. That's why I'm saying I have a hard time, you know. But most people, most people would not do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go back a few years ago, before it freaking reached as high as what it has now. In those days, there was a possibility that somebody could potentially still send it to somebody.
Yeah.
Because monetary value was irrelevant in a care package. And that's just the way that it was. I mean, I've sent multitude of $100 cards to people because that's what I wanted to do. And I enjoyed the hell out of it because watching the reactions and watching those videos is still something that I go back and watch frequently if they're still happen to be on YouTube. Some things have been removed for whatever reason, but I still go back and watch some of those because that was the enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
And money was irrelevant.
Where now money seems to supersede quite a bit in the community.
Yep.
Yeah, it was always fun. I'd go to like sports card forum, fuck around there for a while, just look at like some of the buys or the sells lists or whatnot, and then see. I remember the one time seeing a Tim Hudson printing plate for $10 shipped, and I'm like, really? I said, hey, I'll take the Hudson. The guy's like, okay, just PayPal.
Yep, I know where that went.
And that was the thing. It's like when he got, he's like, where did you find this? That was like when Tom was much more Hudson centric, but he was playing then too, and not so much into the more of the breaks and whatnot. But he was just absolutely stunned that I had found that somewhere. It's like, where was it on eBay? I didn't see any completed listings. I'm like, there's more than eBay. This was the one time I got lucky farting around in sports card forum where I rarely went because it just was mostly garbage or overpriced stuff all the time. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, that's good. That checks the list there. And then again with Brad, the Facebook auction groups were great for that. Everybody had some sort of Dolphins lot of failed rookie patches and
Which the Dolphins have had plenty.
So I mean, it was just like, okay, I'll pick up a bunch of number to 10 or number to 25 patches for like $5. I know he likes patches. That pretty much is a given. So I think that one year
But at the end of the day, it was never about the money that you spent or didn't spend ever. And that's what always made it enjoyable. Oh, have a good one, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I had anything else except that. And I don't remember. But again, it was something when I saw it. Again, there was another Facebook auction where I'm like, or Facebook buy it now auction group or whatever. And I'm like, for the price I paid, I'm like, it doesn't even matter. I know somebody that collects Joe Panic. I want to see videos. I got to spend X amount to see some videos and get the reaction and know the person's actually going to like it. And I like the person because the person's a good person. Let's do it.
No, absolutely. And that's, like I said, that was always the enjoyment of it. It was never about the money. It was never about anything along those lines. It was because that solidified those friendships along the way to where you put forth the time and the effort to listen, get to know somebody, acknowledge the content that they were putting out there, and really trying to put a focus on adding something that would be adding something in their collection in which they would appreciate. With no monetary was irrelevant.
I mean, if you found a great deal or something, hey, that's even better. But again, you find something you found it on your local shop, or you found it somewhere collector nearby, or whatever it wasn't just off eBay. Oh, I got this off eBay. I'll get it for you. It was, hey, I had this tucked away. Hey, I went to the show, one of the shows around me. I found this. I couldn't believe it. That's what it was about. Because again, some of these things don't pop up on eBay, Comsky, on the Facebook groups. It's tucked away in some old dealer's collection where they're not dicking around with the internet. They just go from show to show, hoping to move the stuff, and then you find it, and you're like, no way. Steve wants Terrell Davis. This is a 101. I'll send it to him.
Yep.
Michael Phillips, I've shocked him a couple times with stuff, and I know he likes the beef sticks. Understandable, but when I find that stuff, and it's just like, ooh, these people are going to shit their pants. I've done it again with Matt, who I wish would get back on and make videos. Good Call 6, Tampa Bay, Mike Evans, Dougie Martin, fan. Sent him a package, and Doug Martin logo shield, first one to them. Again, when you have people that are either swearing or they don't even have words, you know it's a grand slam. So,
oh yeah.
Again, remember, the community is about people. How you want to be treated, how you treat others, being a real, transparent person. Be your genuine self. And if your genuine self sucks, don't be a part of this community.
Get the F out.
Yeah.
You said a cuss word, and it's going on YouTube.
No, I never fucking swear. Ever. That's cool. But 3.5 hours, we didn't talk anything about lists. That's fine. Again, it's not like time's running out of. But again, with the time constraints of this StreamYard, and I don't want to pay money to put on the show. We will, Dopey. We'll send you all the Justin Blackmans we come across.
Yeah, I don't have any of those.
See, sending them right now. None. I might have one.
But if I did, I'd potentially send you them. Yeah, we're trying to avoid, since Dave hosts, trying to keep under the 20 hours a month.
Yeah, or you have to pay, I think it was like $240 for the year. But I'm like, okay, I'll pay that through some of the winnings of some of the money I made from selling. No, it's got to be a credit card.
Nope.
Why aren't you accepting PayPal? So I was going to do that too, because I'll just throw some of that money in there. And nope, couldn't do it that way. I'm like, and then I was like, oh, I'll pay for the month. And it was like $25 credit card.
Yep.
Come on now.
Well, we have 2 weeks left in the month. I think we're sitting a little over 7 hours. So at least gives us 13 hours to play with for the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, we'll be at 8. So the last one was 4.5. So.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, was it 4.5 or was it a little over 4?
Maybe a little under 4.5. So.
Okay.
I got to find a pole that will hold my weight.
Okay, so we have 12 hours to play with for the next 2 episodes. That's 6 hours a show. We haven't topped 5 hours just yet, so I think we're good.
I hope so. We might have to do a hockey themed one though.
No, then you can find another co-host.
What a dick.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
that's who I am.
No, not you. Itchy nose?
Yep. Did you
That
get the
happens.
hint?
Yeah, stay out of the sun then. I don't want to get sunburned.
Oh, kiss my ass. But before we do call it a night, I would like to say thanks for all the interaction tonight. This was truly enjoyable. I know we didn't touch on a fucking thing tonight, which, it happens. We will bring up those topics in the next episode.
Will do.
But, it by far, this has been the most enjoyable episode to date. Last week was enjoyable, but the interaction and the consistent chats and everything else was freaking phenomenal. So thanks guys for, of course, sitting through a little over 3.5 hours. We didn't touch on a freaking thing that we wanted to, but that's okay because that's what makes this enjoyable and keeps it fresh. Not to mention, we're not on time constraints by any stretch of the imagination. Wow. Why you got to call me a fuckface for?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Bob Lewis lurking in the weeds again?
Dave, anything you'd like to add? Or
No, at some point, we mentioned at the beginning, or when I asked you about if anything's coming in your way, at some point I'll have some videos up of. Because I've got a couple cards that have come in recently, so
a couple?
yeah. I've had 3 times I went to the post office. 3. They said, "Thank you for keeping us in business."
Well, I still have the one picture that you sent me of while you were on vacation, you would come back into town or whatever, and you sent me the picture of what you went and picked up.
Yeah, I should have brought like a paper bag then. 'Cause that was tough carrying that out. And then it was, I think it was there Saturday. And I think the Tuesday, because it was after Labor Day, that was like another huge, just heaping helping of excitement and fun. I'm like, oh, I like it, but I wish, again, I would got it like one at a time, or yeah, that a
That
few things.
was while he was on vacation. He came into town for whatever, and that's what he ended up picking up at the post office.
Oh yeah, that was the Monday, and then like Saturday came up, and Saturday came back and got the rest. It was a few things. So at some point, yeah, I hope to, and I'm gonna sort of regiment the videos so it's not all one video trying to rifle through stuff. So I've got it separated out. Not that anybody's gonna watch, but again, it'll be not hopefully 20-minute videos every time, but we've said that about a lot of stuff. We're not good with sticking with our words, so
I'm just glad that you haven't spoiled everything that you got. Just saying, because you have a tendency to do that too.
I've got a couple things I've shown, but yeah, I've tried to be decent with not showing everything. I don't want to have too many spoilers. Could have the 3 views I usually get. If I don't, I might have 2. I might have to go away from YouTube and shut down my channel because nobody's viewing my videos.
Yep, that's what you need to do, Dave. Absolutely.
But before this happens, because it's thrown and I'm waiting for it to actually happen, knowing Bob or maybe, shit, you asked something. Bob, next episode. Yeah, he texted me earlier too, and he said something, but being old now, you forget a lot. So,
Huh?
what? So, I'll make sure to write it down next time, because when I write something down, I remember it a lot better than. Oh, I read it. I'll remember it. I
Yeah.
have memory. 10
Yeah.
minutes later.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like, Bob, who?
Well, add it to
No,
the episode topics.
I'll have to edit the title and be like, what we wanted to do was,
Yeah.
what we ended up doing in actuality was, I was gonna say, that's what I did. I've got one. Try to show. It's right there,
Yep.
but it happens. I'd rather
Dave,
have it happen like this than.
I will give Dave props. Dave typically comes with the topics. I find out about the topics usually like maybe a day before.
A day or two before. I try to get the video thing like on the StreamYard thing, so it shows up like Sunday at some point. Saturday, Sunday. I try to get it then.
Yeah, so I don't always have a whole lot of time to prepare. Just throwing that out there, FYI. Since he's the host over here, he likes to drive the bombshells, and it's like, thanks, Dave. You're not giving me a whole lot of time to prepare. But I will give him credit. He does take the opportunity to think through as far as the topics and stuff along those lines. And when he was on vacation, he sent multiple text messages, and I was like, okay, nope, I think we're good.
Except the last two, you were not.
Well, I was like, that may be pushing it a little bit, but then again, it's one of those in which, who knows?
Yeah, we seem to go over it tonight, so for some of that stuff, it seemed to be brought up a little bit. So
It did, and that's okay though too. It's one of those in which I'm not opposed to. I don't want to call them controversial topics by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one of those in which and it's not political or anything along those lines. It just Dave is a little more apt to be more outspoken than me in certain situations, but he knows how I feel on some of those topics. I'm just very selective to how I respond to said topics, if that makes any sense. Trying to be politically correct, I guess.
why?
Because that's just me.
Yeah,
Remember, I work in corporate America. It's very hard for me to not be quote unquote politically correct in certain situations.
Political correctness. Ugh.
Yes, I know. I know. I get it.
But
Anyways,
Bob isn't coming on with his question, which is nice. That'll give me a chance to look at a text from earlier and write it down for next week. But again, Steve said the point. I will reiterate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being involved. Again, the show doesn't flow and be as fun as it is without you guys all hopping in and saying whatever you want to say, pretty much. Again, you saw Caesar tonight. I mean, he's had probably like a fifth of like turpentine, and he's just spitting nonsense. It helps. That's you have fun commentary, you have fun insight, you have good questions, and again, that's what helps us keep the show moving. And we don't have it's fun and it's nice to have the bullet points, but at the same time, it's like again, we don't have. We're not sponsored. We're not trying to build subscribers. We're not trying to be professional and all this other bullshit. We're just two guys basically talking cards with a bunch of other guys. And if a chick comes in, whatever. But again, it's dudes talking cards with dudes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not even on a limb that's out there. It's already falling. So you Steve?
You messed it up this time.
Last time too. Or no, two. I think 2 ago. Whatever it was. Again. Hey Steve, I'm Dave. Thank you for watching. Until next time, remember, building collections, that's great. Building friendships, that's what this hobby should always be about. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.